reforms at the initial stage of his administration, and now he's told Nigerians that the economy is turning the corner. What's the WTO's perception of Nigeria's economy?
So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they're feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed with Mr. President.
No be small for some idea for Agbo Road now. They throw away more to anyhow. Any driver where we come from Agbo Road, where they pass there, me just do and gently. But this is a major road. If you are coming from Lagos and you are going to East, Calabar, College, or where, Onisha, you must pass through here. In fact, you must pass through here. Very soon I see all those GO motors, God is good, going down. You see them, they are coming here. That time, the length of the whole road will even go to like 2 kilometers. I'm telling you honestly. This is Benin Asaba Road. It's a very busy road. For the last 4 years, there have been a series of problems. There are so many bad spots on this road because on daily basis, trailers keep falling on this road. The only thing government will do is that there will come a time, do minor palliative measures that will probably last for like 3-4 months, and they will promise you that they are going to do it next year. But nothing happens. We dey tell government, make government help us, make they help us for the road, make they help us.
There is a value placed on every individual. This is unacceptable.
Yes.
Enough is enough. Enough of this debt.
My name is Choma Grace Economic. I am the African Action Congress chairperson, and I am the governorship candidate for the African Action Congress. I am here to see the governor.
We cannot have it anymore. Enough of this debt. We cannot have it anymore. If it's your child, if your child was murdered like this, the African Action Congress governorship candidate is here to see the governor.
I think it's shift this way. Shift this way now. Shift this way. Go across. Please. If they say listen to me, they would have attended. Go across now. Go across. Wait. Excuse me.
Another challenge you.
Another challenge you. Another challenge you.
Plenty challenge you. I'm here because the blood of this boy is crying out. Nobody deserves to die the way this boy died. Maybe every other death has been justified, or everybody decides to live their life. I will not move on.
Can we
because
talk?
allow me to express. I've been asking you to introduce yourself.
Hold on.
Nobody, even a child, should be victimized. I've been asking him, tell me your name. You don't want to tell me. You want us to talk, but you don't want to answer me.
Get to hear my words. Insecurity rises every day in Anambra State. Yes. We demand justice for Emmanuel and his sisters. We demand justice for the persons who did this immoral act.
Let us see the culprits. We need to see somebody. Someone has to be held accountable for the death of this boy. Somebody has to be held accountable. Yes. We live in a society where one person dies, everybody's going about their business. The next day, the other person dies. One after the other, people are dying. And we think that it's not going to get to us. Because it is not touching us, we claim that it does not affect us. How can a young boy and a young girl go to their farm, and the next thing, these people infected them, kidnapped them, and then they asked the boy to sleep with the sister. And when he refused, they killed him. How can this happen in our lives? This is an Anambra State, for God's sake. Is this what our ancestral fathers fought for?
below the water of Kata Bridge and the, Tomeland Bridge. And it was discovered that there were a lot of problems because the piles were installed in the technical terms of skin friction because rock would not be discovered. Skin friction is a method whereby you secure the piles. And under the aggregation of the piles, you have the pile cap. So it was discovered that these piles, being held by sand, is being washed away due to illegal mining of sand and due to also ocean, current. And so in 2019, another study was carried out, and it was discovered that the deterioration of these piles, some rusting, chlorination, loss of sand, was very, very much in geometric progression. And so when we came on board, the president directed that we should look at the rehabilitation of the Tomeland Bridge, so which we have resurfaced, 11.8 kilometers by 14 lanes. And then we went to look at what is happening, under the deck, but, above the water. And so we gave that contract to Julius Berger, Ido Bridge, Kata Bridge, and Tomeland Bridge at a contract sum of 65 billion. And their job was to, repay all the rusted piers, or in layman's terms, columns, and then look at the pie caps and then treat the pie caps because the rods were exposed and rusting was taking place, very badly. And so in the course of doing this, we also embedded in their contract, let them look at the 2013, underwater investigation and 2019. So it's part of their contract. And so they now came up and said, look, Kata Bridge should be closed immediately against traffic, and that the Kata Bridge was beyond repair. It has to be a new construction. And they gave us a cost about 380-something billion to, rehabilitation, but said it was not feasible. But the one that was feasible was about 359 billion for brand new bridge. And they discussed with Deutsche Bank for their funding. Now, for Tomeland Bridge, nobody submitted any proposal, but the same problem of underwater problems, in Kata Bridge, the same thing with Tomeland Bridge. And when we did a pro rata of, what is to be done, if we are to rehabilitate, it came to about 3.8 trillion. And if we are to do a new construction, it came to about 3.6 trillion. And so we approached, Federal Executive Council and said, look, give us approval, to do two things under APC plus F, to allow not less than 7, specialist contractors to undertake comprehensive investigation, comprehensive design, and a bidding to reconstruct it, brand new bridges, or to, do rehabilitation of these two bridges. Then the third one is to advertise for PPP, where the, private sector will bid, for
Of course, we remember the summit between these two leaders during President Trump's first term in Helsinki. They met, and now they meet again right here.
Reporters certainly did their best to shout as much as they could to try and, get some questions to Vladimir Putin. I believe he was asked, will you agree to a ceasefire? Why can you trust Vladimir Putin? But no dice. They did not want to respond. They want to get down to business.
I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on. Most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate. And I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant, but we have a very good chance of getting there. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed. And President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much. And we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. No, I'll get a little...
Some of this rally make my blood pressure go up.
So you should get a filter sometimes, filter your thoughts before you say.
I'll continue to take blood pressure medication.
Why are you getting high blood pressure, Jonava? Now,
I'm not taking medication for myself. I'm taking it for people like Paul and some of you guys that after the January, February something, and then people like Soludo that is a good spoiler. I thank God for his life. He's working for my.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is.
And you took my time to God. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you my time.
No, I'm coming.
Alexi, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
Alexi.
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon. Yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uncle, right? I have the right to address you already the way I like. You don't know what she already did to me. So learn to control your emotion. Right? That's the only thing that I'm going to tell you. But if you don't want to control your emotion and you insult me here, I'm going to insult you 100%.
Okay.
You understand? You cannot insult me on a normal ground. Fiscally, you can't insult me. Right? I will treat you like a child. If you insult me physically, I will handle you like a child. I don't care your age. Do you understand? You are powerful over the camera. So you can say whatever you want to say, but you can't yet say it to me physically. You understand? I can do like a kid.
Can we arrange the meeting ground? Can we arrange the meeting ground?
So learn to control your emotion.
I'm there with you.
Okay.
Please don't take him out. I also have a right to respond because he mentioned my name. There's no need to take him out. All you have to do is to meet them or something. And you're taking too long to admonish them.
Comment.
What did you say?
Comment.
I know, but he mentioned my name, so I'm asking to respond to him.
When he gets your time,
No. He mentioned my name.
If you want to make it rowdy, I will take you out.
Take me out, you son of a bitch. Take me out. You think you're a big boy because you're moderating.
Take him out, please.
Hello, come on. Don't use such word now.
Don't forget, that state is now an oil-producing state. So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me respond to him. One second.
Do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective. So show me who he is.
All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. Today is Saturday, August the 16th, 2025. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. I'm glad that you are joining us today for another episode of Have Your Say 247. All right, yesterday, 357,000 people tracked the flight of Vladimir Putin from Moscow to Alaska for a meeting with Donald Trump. More than 200 reporters were at Anchorage where the meeting took place, and they were expecting big announcements after, but that did not happen. It was what we call inconclusive in Nigeria, to be continued. So we're going to discuss what happened, why they couldn't agree on anything, and where that leaves Ukraine and the crisis there. In Nigeria, our president, Mr. Bola Tinubu, is out again. He traveled to Brazil. It's one of the countries he's stopping at again. Wasn't he in Brazil last week or something? He's also going to Japan and other places. We have no idea when he's coming back to Nigeria. So we're going to talk about that. In other stories, we have APC and PDP defending themselves because a judge in Canada declared them a terrorist organization. I don't get that. I don't understand that story. But that's what's in the news. And they're all over the place trying to defend themselves and clarify what is really going on. So we're going to talk about that. In Abuja, before the president left, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the director of the World Trade Organization, met with the president. When she spoke to the media outside Aso Rock, she said that the president must get credit for stabilizing the economy. What's needed now is to grow it and to reduce the suffering of the Nigerian people. A lot of you guys got issues with Okonjo-Iweala's the idea of what's going on in Nigeria and the economy. So that's also something that we are going to talk about. In Anambra State, there's a by-election going on as we speak. It's for, I think, Anambra South Senatorial Zone. Results are coming in, and I looked at some of the results. They were different from the one we saw in 2023. I didn't see cancellations, and I didn't see people marking over each other. If I can, I will show you some of the results we're seeing out of Anambra State. So it's quite interesting. I don't know if that is a proof that some INEC people are learning or that something has changed. I don't know. But it's coming in, results are coming in out of Anambra State. And we will talk about how it's going. The ones I've seen, APGA appears to be winning everything. It's also a way to look at what might happen in November when there's election for governor right there in Anambra State. Okay, there are so many other issues, but I will let you guys come in, those who want to be part of this conversation to come in and let me know what they are following, the stories that are important to them. For now, I will say again, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate all of you. Those on the comment section, I see you. Thank you so much. So I see Mr. James. Mr. James, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much for welcoming me.
Yes, it's nice to see you always. I actually was looking forward to seeing you today because there was this story out of the Gambia. I'm not sure you're aware of it, but a woman from the Gambia came to Nigeria. It's a long story, but I'll give you the short version.
Right.
She was looking for her husband. She married a Nigerian who one day she was told that the man died. She didn't see the body of the man. She didn't know anything about how he died. It didn't take time before she found out.
Is the man a Benin man?
Is the man what?
A Benin man?
No. The man is from Anambra State.
Okay, I met a lady here having that problem too. Okay,
you said what?
I met a lady here who married a Benin man in Sierra Leone. The man died and there are a lot of complications. I thought she's the one.
No. This one was, they actually found out that the man had died in 2009 in Nigeria. But somehow the man showed up in Gambia, married this lady, had 4 kids with the lady. So you don't know anything about the story?
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to know something about it, but because of, the way I live my life here, I don't interact with them so much. And I will find out and get back to you.
Okay. You live like an, that's called, people they call expatriates.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it means. It's not a bad thing, but All right. So that's a story that actually I'm interested in. If you can look into that, maybe talk to people especially Nigerians, and see what they know about that story. Maybe next week we follow up on that story. I'm actually interested. All right. So you saw the stories I mentioned in the news. Are there any story that you know?
It's a bit surprising you left out a very important one. KWAM 0, KWAM 1, KWAM 2.
I wasn't here. I wasn't here last week. I thought you guys dealt with all the KWAMs. I didn't know
Yeah. You are correct. I remember asking Mr. Paul a question.
There are more KWAMs. But I also understand that as of last week, when we had the show on Saturday, there was no, I think the Minister for Aviation came back to say, okay, we have to pardon these people. We have to make them ambassadors. I like when you are pardoned, you are made an ambassador, but they pardoned them and made them ambassadors, and the one that was locked up, KWAM 2, was freed. And so that's something we are going to add to the conversation.
Yeah, but you see, the funny thing is the magistrate, the role she played or he played, sending that girl to Kirikiri, why was he so high-handed? It's not, the way I say it, it's a bailable offense. Why should she be detained till October or thereabout? I think it's the Justice Minister or the Chief Justice, the woman, was saying she will bring about revolutionary changes in the judiciary. I do not see anything strange she has done since she took over office. Because a situation whereby these are I see it as infractions. It's not a question of terrorism. Misunderstanding between a woman and a traveler. You are telling them to detain her at Kirikiri of all places, not even a police station or, anyway, it's all part of the rotten system we are grappling with.
All right, we'll get to that hopefully and talk about that in details. Paul, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor.
So, Paul, KWAM 1, KWAM 2, KWAM, where are you? Are we, how are you doing?
Doctor, I will just speak small a little bit about aviation that I understand. Now, I'm not talking about aviation in terms of understand the nitty-gritty of aviation, just common sense, what we understand. Doctor, if any issues happen before an aircraft takes off, and if they report it to the captain, that aircraft will not fly. So if that issue happen in Uyo, because it is the captain that will call FAN, the FAA, the aviation security. You understand? It is the captain that will call. The captain should have done that in Uyo. The captain shouldn't have fly if there's a problem in Uyo, because they tell the girl, off your phone, you understand, before the aircraft even take off and everything. So if there's a problem, the captain will stop and not take off. But in this case, you take off, you understand, then you land, then you also even open the door, which is also wrong. What you do, you close the door till the so-called security personnel come and everything. That's how you do things. You understand? So there's so many errors in different ways, you understand. The issues is just so abnormal, so completely barbaric. That's what I would say.
Is there any story that you've been following that I did not mention that is important to you?
Oh no, the one that I saw in Arise that makes me laugh, the local government chairman in Ethiopia West local government in Delta State, that they criticized and said this guy don't have right to criticize him in public, that he has already reported to his lawyer. It makes me laugh a lot. it kind of makes me laugh a lot. But why it makes me laugh? Because I'm me, in my own thinking, I'm abnormal. You understand? Because big man in Nigeria, you don't have a right to criticize big man. So if a poor man criticizes big man, it's the big man is reminding the poor man, I've contacted my lawyer and we're going to deal with you and deal with you very well. It kind of makes me laugh.
Was he elected or appointed?
Yeah, he's the local government chairman of Ethiopia West local government in Delta State. You understand? Then his excuse is just funny. He said, before now, I was a community leader. I was doing this. This guy that criticized me also know me, even invite me when he was getting married and everything. So why will he criticize? Doctor, you know these things that my family, everybody tell me when you criticize pastor, they said, since you have access to the pastor, why don't you discuss with the pastor one-on-one? But when the pastor criticized devil, criticize all these people who serve other type of belief in our villages and everything, didn't they know them to go meet them in their shrine and then discuss this thing like Jehovah's Witness will do before they stand on the podium and criticize all these people, condemn everything? Something that the priest said the other day that makes me kind of get thinking and everything. That the priest said the British came, they took, you understand, they took all our so-called what they call juju in Nigeria, they took in Ghana, then we also had in India. Till today, they are still refusing to give us. But they give us Christianity, they give us Bible for free. But they took our juju and they refuse to give us the thing that they condemn. We say, give us our property that you condemn. They refuse to give us. And they so do it so nicely that we ourselves, we condemn those things so immensely. It's just kind of funny. So these are the type of people that we have. You know,
you mentioned pastor, and I remembered something that I don't think we touched on. Maybe I'm the only one interested in such stories. Adeboye ordered his sons to donate that he needed 30 billion. And people were criticizing that. And people forgot the other important thing that he said during that event, which was that he knew when he would die. He actually said that he would like to die on Sunday after eating pounded yam, on a Sunday evening after going to church, eating pounded yam, and then he would die. And I think that is something very important, that this man is ready. Somebody's writing 30 billion naira. Yes.
That video.
And the way he said it, I want 10 people to give me 1 billion each. I want 100 people to give me, I don't know how he calculated it, but it came up to 30 billion. And he raised the money, I believe. Did you follow that? Did you hear that at all?
Doctor, it is simple. Doctor, just imagine if I go back to my tool where I used to go to church, or let me not call my tool, let me call Satellite Town, where I used to go to church back then and everything. Doctor, do you know all the people who intimidate me when I see myself back some 35 years ago how skinny, how ugly I am. All the girls that don't like me, today now they now discover that I am this rich, I have all this wealth and every other thing. How do you want me to make them understand that I have it? You understand? Is it not when they raise fund in church, I just come outside and say that I'm going to donate 2 million. I'm not doing it for that church. I'm doing it for the guests to recognize me that, that guy will be big boy. You understand? We do it by proxy, just to recognize ourselves. Then over time, if I'm a marketer, you understand, like the Ponzi scheme, I'll use it again to swindle people and recover my money back. If I'm the type who like women, I'll also use it again to start sleeping with all the girls in the church. You understand? The people do it for their own interests. You understand? Do you think they believe that pastor is talking God? No. They're doing it. These are marketers for different purposes. That's what people do. You understand? It's just funny. Somebody will just stand and say, I deliver furniture in the whole of Zenith Bank. All the old Zenith Bank in the whole Southwest, I deliver furniture and everything. Everybody just recognize you. Before you know, people start talking to you. It's an aggressive marketing. All of us go there to go cut deals. You understand? So, doctor, it will happen. And it does happen. You understand? That's what people do.
All right, just to update the story that we're following, the Comfort, the woman from Akwa Ibom Air, she's suing the federal government, suing the NCAA and others for 500 billion naira. 500 billion naira. So that's a new development from the KWAM 2 story. All right. Let's welcome to the show Prince Akwachi. Prince, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Dr. Domegis. Well, first, good morning. And Mr. James, good evening in Gambia. And Paul, this one way they talk about women all the time. Your idea women, no, they talk saying anything. Your idea women. I hope say your wife they hear Amo. I am saying your wife they hear and because say that they flirt with you up and down because you're a rich man now. And it's allowed. After all, your former president, he no marry another wife, Jonathan. He married another wife, and I heard the wife is a barrister.
Why do you think my father?
Nobody told us about the.
Why do you think my father died early? Why do you think my father died early? My father died early because he married one wife now. When my mother will leave, go to a mugo 3 months. Before my mother come back, we'll go back again to a mugo 3 months. My father started to eat junk food. Let me make my father die early.
You know, the doctor said for you to live long, you should be doing it about 21 times or 28 times in a month. So you can try it.
No, that's why we'll go do am assorted. We'll go marry 3.
No,
South African culture and tradition allow you to marry more than 2 wives.
In addition to what you said about Adeboye, didn't you hear that Kumuyi became so defensive this week too? You know, just because he was asked about his successor, number 1, and then another woman asked him about the 15 other people that established the Deeper Life. You know, do they have like what do you call it, retirement or whatever it is, you know, for them. He became so defensive and then quoted a Bible. Oh my God. Oh my God. You see, I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to make it look as if I'm anti-Christian or whatever it is. But it's high time people should wake up. It's high time. When it concerns them, they bring the Bible quotation, they misquote the Bible. They add their own, you know, into it just to justify whatever it is. A simple thing. Do you have a plan for the people that establish the stuff with you? No. Instead, he was talking about, oh, they are not for here, they are for heaven. Okay.
He said he knows when he's going to die too. He said he knows when he's going to die too. He said it too.
You see? All of them, they will be knowing when they will die. They will know when they. My own about for Adeboye. My own for Adeboye is, if you know that you are going to die, why don't you do that 100 days fasting and prayer? Since prayer can do everything, so that the prayer can move it, they can extend it a little bit. Because we want him to at least live and see all the things that they planned, all the things that they help the politicians in doing, you know, to see the fruitfulness of it. So he should do the 100 days fasting and prayer, you know, and no eating of pounded yam, so that we'll see if God will add extra years to him and all that kind of a thing. It's just so sad. It's just so sad, you know, that you see people being brainwashed and all that kind of a thing. You know, I'm not saying people shouldn't go to church. You go to church. We, you know, my own is I don't go to church all the time. I'm not saying I'm a Christian. I read my Bible. I don't allow pastor to influence me. That's another thing. And I know what the Bible says, you know. And I'm not going to let somebody tell me, oh, do this or do that, you know, just their own and that kind of a thing. Yeah. And all that stuff.
Prince Akwachi, sorry, doctor. On Sunday, this Sunday, I went to church. My elder sister came to visit me. So all the large families, all my cousin, everybody, it was a large family. And we all visited, went to church. After church, so they were doing this youth program, and they started quoting this Bible, any tree that did bear fruit, cut the tree down. It's like a quiz, which was fun and everything. So when they closed it, I asked my daughter, I said, you're a scientist. That thing that they were talking in the Bible, was it right? She said, everything is right. But you see, doctor, you need to see the way they pound at me and everything. I said, look, 99% of the trees we have in America, they are all men trees that don't bear fruit, that we plant everywhere. Now I asked my daughter, I said, I don't want to touch. Is it that tree good for us? We breed from that tree. Is it that tree good for us? My daughter said, I never thought about it that way. Dad, you're right. Doctor. They attack my daughter immediately. They say, don't follow your daddy, don't follow.
Don't be like him. All right,
come on, oxygen.
We're going to start the conversation, but before then, let me play the Prince Akwachi mentioned Kumuyi. Let me play the audio for those who have not seen that.
I say it publicly, I reject any member of the church, my child, anyone trying to control me. I won't even take it for my wife.
In the book called 24 Laws of Power, the writer said, do not assign your leaders. But in this case, it seems like one of the younger pastors in Deeper Life Church is trying to pressure Pastor Kumuyi to declare his successor to the church. I hope you know that before this younger pastor could come out to repeatedly talk about the need for a successor in Deeper Life Church in public, there must have been side talks here and there about it in the church. Anyway, the way Pastor Kumuyi responded to the issue was very shocking, I must tell you. Before the end of this video, we are going to see what Pastor Kumuyi said. That's everything that he said about this issue and the responses of church members on the internet that you will not believe. But first, if this is your first time of coming across this channel, welcome to the family. This is GGTV, and we do everything: entertainment news, celebrity gossip, trending news, and even Igbo history. If this is what you like, please do well to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notification bell so that you'll be the first to be notified anytime we drop a new video. Also, make sure to like this video now or at the end of this video so that you can be able to show it to more people. Now, let's dive right into the gist. This whole church saga started after one of the church's younger preachers the phrase in the course of his preaching, and most importantly, so he said to address it head on. In his message, he made it categorically clear he would choose a successor in his timing, not man, citing the case of Moses, and going to make sure he resists anyone who is going to try a resounding no at the congregation. That moment alone showed. Meanwhile, there are mixed reactions here to avoid future confusion. So even anyway, I would also like to hear your opinion in the comment section.
All right. I'm so sorry. I got the wrong video, but it's the actual guy. But this was more like commentary from somebody. But we will probably get to that if we have the time and touch on some of these pastors. And I think somebody should be documenting what they say every week.
Yep.
So that our people might be able to put it all together, you know. All right. So let's go back to Mr. James. Okay, so Mr. James, we are going to begin the conversation. I want us to start with the meeting between Putin and Trump. I know that Mr. James doesn't care about American stories, but did you follow this one?
Certainly not. I did not. I wish it's about Kenya, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Ghana. It would have been of interest to me.
But this one has worldwide implications.
Yeah, I knew there was a meeting taking place. Is it in Anchorage or Fairbanks? I can't remember. But
Anchorage.
I didn't bother to. I had better things to do. So.
Did you hear that?
Let me give my time to Mr. Paul.
No, wait. We will get there. I know they are not in a hurry. Did you hear that there were 375,000 people tracking just his flight from Moscow to America?
Yes, there is need to do that because of world peace. People are tired of saying they are tired of fighting wars. So if so many people are tracking him, it's not surprising. And for his own security too, because you know who Trump is. Anything can happen. So there's need for them to keep an eye on him and make sure they don't play funny games. The way they treated this man in Venezuela, I think Hugo Chavez. Yeah, so that's just it.
All right, let me hear from you, Paul. Did you watch?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, James.
Yeah, Doctor, I followed it, and I just see when Trump put me in real time and everything. Trump was so cool, quiet, calm, like my father, like a Jehovah's Witness person. Even Putin break the rules and everything. Normally, when they want to come outside and address pressmen and everything, it is the host country that speaks first. That is the tradition. But in this case, it was Putin that speak first. You understand? Speak first and everything. Then after Trump says somebody one lady screen and ask him question and everything, Putin, he just ignore them and everything. You understand? And Putin just go there, start talking the history of Alaska, this and that, historic thing and everything. The guy is not there and everything. But it's so funny when you and I knows that the war that is going on in Israel and the Palestine and everything, it's an American war. But what America do, America is so clever enough, you understand, they only fight proxy war because they don't want any American life to go and everything. So you have one war that you cannot end, that you can end in second, but you want to go discuss another person's own and say you want to end another war. That's a slap in our face and everything. But this is the only time that you see a white man dying. That's why they're trying to escalate it, blow it out of proportion so that all of us can support. There's war going on in Sudan. There's war going on in Congo and the likes, war every other places. Are they discussing it? No. And everything. When they talk mass genocide and the likes, they will never tell you places like Congo, what Leopold do with 11 million people. It doesn't concern them and everything. So this is just their own war. America in any time, any day, what is his name, Cuba is going through. Is it not because of Russia that they sanctioned Cuba? It will never happen for China to build a base in Mexico. You understand? So why are you putting a base in Ukraine? The foolish Ukraine, they humiliate themselves by doing all this nonsense that they are doing. You think Putin will not fall for it? And nothing will happen. You understand? America never threatened North Korea because they know they have nuke. So we all know nothing will happen there. Putin will do what he want to do. The highest thing that will do, he will play around them, trick them with land, even when he's not interested in land, because Russia has the highest land mass in the world. It's the biggest country in the world. So what would they want to do with 20% of Ukraine and everything? No. You understand? They need to show that strength that this will do it and everything. For the NATO not to keep encroaching. Remember, NATO started with only Western Europe, but now they are in Eastern Europe. They are encroaching further and everything. So Putin is fighting back. And I give it to him in as much as life is dying and everything. But only what I don't like is that be transparent enough and say it the way it is. You understand? Because America can do another thing. America can also say, you know what, we can give Ukraine their nuke back. Remember, Ukraine also have about 30 nuclear head that it took from them before they got their independence and everything. And these things is in the hands of America. America can say we can give them back. And guess what? Then the world will know no peace and everything. So I was expecting, I'm waiting for the time where Putin will come outside and say it clearly. The agreement that America signed, the agreement that they told Ukraine that we're going to protect you, Russia will not encroach, and the agreement that they also signed, Ukraine, you will not be a NATO member. Now you fight to become an EU member. At the same time again, you are indirectly again want to become NATO member. You understand? They've encroached on the Eastern Europe from Western Europe. You understand? And I don't think it's right. I was expecting Putin to say it the way it is. But no matter how Putin's still going to say it, the West still have the strong edge when it comes to media to trick people with media, war, and the likes. But that is exactly what is going on. It's not about land grabbing. Russia have enormous land to deal with. They are still the biggest country in the world. So what do they want to do with land when they see Russia itself is still under 11% developed? It's still under 11% developed. So they still have more land to do so many things with and every other thing that they've not done. So land is not a problem, but it's just that it is the NATO thing that makes them punish Ukraine to serve as a deterrent for the West not to keep encroaching around them.
All right. Thank you, Paul. This is Trump and Putin inside the beast, taking a ride in the beach, in the beast. Prince Akwachi. So we talk about this, and it's interesting, you know. If you remember during the Biafran War, there were meetings that happened in different parts of the world. And every war, you know, different meetings will be going on. But people are dying as we speak. Even as Putin was coming, he was sending missiles into Ukraine. Almost 500,000 people have died, both countries. So what do you make of what happened?
First and foremost, I want to say shame on Orange Hair. Mr. Orange Hair, shame on him. First, before he came in, when he was campaigning, he said 24 hours. 24 hours before he gets into the Oval Office, the war is over. Everything is, you know, like he's going to do abracadabra, you know, and everything will be all good. How many days? About 200 and something days now. It still hasn't happened. And he has been looking for different ways to distract people from the particular things that is supposed to be handled immediately. We're still looking for the Epstein file, so can he bring it out, please? Can he bring it out? You know? And just to get some kind of like humiliation, about a week or two ago, Russian national television showed Melania, you know, on their TV. They were talking about Melania, you know, with her nudity, you know, almost nude pictures or videos that they were showing on their TV, telling their people something, whatever they were telling their people. And before this man, you know, the Orange Hair got into, you know, went to Anchorage, he said nobody's going to intimidate him. You know, he was trying to make it look as if it was Putin that was asking for the meeting. But shame on him. Putin said it right on the podium that America begged him to come. What a shame. He tried to bully us. Dr. Damages, please, we want our own country. Very soon, we're going to say bye-bye to you guys.
Oh, you mean California?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Something your governor is trying to do.
Oh, my God, my governor is handling him. Oh, and it's so interesting. I'm loving it. What? I'm loving it. Where are the MAGA people? Where is KJ and Kene? The MAGA people. Please, when they come into my state, they should come with a visa. They're gonna be coming with visa very soon.
Wait. Prince Akwachi, hold on. Can you tell us what the plan is? So are they going to? Is your governor going to wait for Texas to?
So what? Yes, and whatever Texas is gonna do, because what Trump is trying to do, he knows he's gonna lose the midterms. So he's trying to use Texas. If Texas succeeds, then he will go to other red states to replicate the same thing. And what they're trying to do is to carve out, you know, the gerrymandering thing in all the districts and carve it out where they know that it's gonna be Republicans. Okay, so what my governor is, and also the assembly is, they are all in it now. Whatever they do there, if they add 5, 5 to their own, we will add 5 here from California. As a matter of fact, we might even double it. And we have places where we're gonna chase them out anyway. We don't need them. Next election, I don't think we'll need any Republican in California. And we're gonna do it. Because where they are is even where you have all these Mexican farmers. And you know that the Mexican farmers are angry at them. So whatever they do, there is gonna be some kind of incentive to entice the Mexican, whatever it is that it is gonna be, and it will be done. And he thought he was gonna bully my governor, and kind of like tweeting and all that stuff. And then the guy started replying him, giving it back to back to back to back. The last one he gave him, up till now, he has not replied. I was like, yeah, come on, midnight throws, you was giving it to him back to back. And they have all these eyes, people in LA and all that kind of a thing, think he's going to use that to scare us. He doesn't scare us. Nah, nada.
Let me just point out that tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, we have Junior Ezon, who is a councilman from Texas. He will join us and he will talk about redistricting in Texas and all the issues around politics in the South and how the wider implication in America. And we talk about the children born abroad and what they can do, or what they are doing abroad and what they can do for the motherland. So those who can join us tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, we will have a special elected councilman out of Texas joining us. All right, so let's go back to I think there's some.
Yeah, and then in conclusion to orange hair, even Miss Clinton, have stated in a podcast yesterday that if the meeting had gone successfully, she would have helped in soliciting for him to get that Nobel. Is it Nobel laureate or whatever it is, peace, whatever it is? But with what happened, he's not gonna get it. Shame. He's not gonna get it.
It's not over yet. It's not over yet.
Okay, even the Congo, did you know that the M23 and the Congo, whatever it is, they fought yesterday?
Oh,
they fought yesterday. Yes, they say fighting.
Okay, hold on.
They say fighting.
I think, OBE, are you driving? We don't let people drive when they're on this. You're driving? All right, we have to wait. Unless you stopped, I don't know. I can't figure out whether you're driving. I can't hear you too. If you're driving, you have to.
I just drove through car wash, so I'm going to park soon. Just let me out first. Don't let me out soon, okay?
Okay, all right. So it's very important to him to air his views. So why?
He's not gonna get it.
Yeah.
It's not like is it as a Sebastian or be whatever it is that he did the other day, that those ones came and was talking rubbish that for 30 years they've been fighting. Okay, then whose fault is it? You guys were fighting now, and now you decided to settle. Okay, fine. Don't come here and then think that this man, is gonna, give you guys all the whatever it is. That's crap. That's crap. Nobody even cares if they exist or whatever. It's their own. Yeah.
All right.
So,
thank you. Let's go to Jide, and Jide, welcome to the show.
Yeah,
Jide,
thank you so much, Dr. Damages.
Jide will give us the geopolitical implications of the fact that there were B-2 fighter jets flying on top of the air in Alaska. Jide,
oh Lord.
I don't know why they did that, but why are you using B-2 to fly across the sky of Alaska as if Putin is coming with a nuclear bomb? I don't know. Anyway,
I'm doctor. This is the person who is preaching to cut costs. Do you know how much millions it will cost them to to fly that this thing from Missouri to Alaska.
You can use any other plane to, fighter jet, but not B-2, I don't know. Jide, you know more than us. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, good to see everybody. Greetings, Mr. James, Mr. Paul, Mr. Prince. Greetings to everyone. Dr. Damage, it's good to see you. Yeah, honestly, oh my God, yesterday's summit, I don't even know how to call it summit or informal meeting. I don't even know if I'll call it a summit because honestly, for me, it was like an informal meeting, to be honest. But the thing is, looking at what happened yesterday, it was exactly what I predicted. I'm not surprised. It was exactly what I predicted. So the whole idea is Trump needs to get the Ukraine saga out of the way. That was his goal. He really wants to get the Ukraine saga out of the way from the United States. He wants the United States to be, he really wants the United States hands to be out of the way and use European Union, the NATO vestiges to carry on that war. That's the actual goal. So they need to buy time, remove their hands so they can focus on Iran and China. So actually they want a frozen conflict because currently Russia is leading that war. They are advancing. And it would not be nice if Russia gets to Odessa, which is because once they get to Odessa in Ukraine, they will shatter the whole Ukrainian economy. So they need to avoid that to prevent further escalation at this point. So they need to stop that war because Russia is advancing. Not because they want peace for Europe. Not because Donald Trump is a good man and he wants peace for Europe. They actually want to buy time because right now they are losing that war and they cannot afford to escalate in Ukraine and be focused on Ukraine and be fighting China at the same time and be increasing tensions with Iran. America as a country, as an empire, would overstretch itself. And that will be the beginning, that will be the end of American empire directly. So what they're trying to do now is they are trying to buy time because the war with Ukraine and Russia is a proxy war. Ukraine is a proxy of the United States and Western Europe to weaken Russia, to bleed out Russia economically, geopolitically, and militarily. That is the goal. The goal is, those are the primary goals, and they are achieving it already. However, Russia is still standing strong. They've not been able to decapacitate Russia economically because Russia has now strong alliance with the East. But what they've been able to do is that with the war going on in Ukraine, there is a geopolitical realignment. Western Europe is now strongly in the hands of America. I don't know if everyone knows the story of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, where the US actually played a role in the complete destruction of the Nord Stream 2 pipeline to completely separate Western Europe, particularly Germany, from Russia, because Germany was supplying cheap gas to Russia was supplying cheap gas to Germany to facilitate their economy. Now, the economy in Germany is going down the drain. Not just Germany, so many parts of Western Europe, because now they are now aligned with the United States completely isolating themselves from Russia. So the goal now is Western Europe needs to start preparing for war. They need time. But for that time to occur, they need to freeze the conflict. They did this in Syria. In Syria, in 2015, they used the ISIS proxy, ISIS and Al-Qaeda, to remove Bashar al-Assad. Then what happened was they used Iran and Russia, they cooperated and Hezbollah. They cooperated to defeat Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Then they froze that conflict. They froze it, the West. They froze that conflict. They imposed sanctions on Syria. Then in December last year, they reorganized, thanks to the help of Israel and the CIA, to take over Bashar al-Assad. Now, they want to use the same strategy, the same playbook. If you listen to what Pete Hegseth said in February of this year, he said it clearly that now the United States and Europe, they need to focus on division of labor. Division of labor means we need to share our adversaries. We will focus on China, which is our major adversary, and the Middle East. And you guys, Europe, you will spend more money on NATO, 5%, to prepare to contain Russia. He said it clearly in their NATO summit, and I think he even said it, he said it in February as well. So what's going on right now is Trump did not achieve any deal because Russia, they know all these things I'm saying. They know it. So what they're trying to do is, if you listen to Putin yesterday, within the short time he spoke, so everything Trump is saying is great. We reached some agreements. However, I do not want Europe to torpedo this agreement. He said it clearly. I do not want Europe to torpedo this agreement because he knows that even if there is a ceasefire, Europe and Zelensky and Ukraine, they will still cooperate and reorganize to escalate that war later in the future. But yeah, like the one thing about the Stealth bombers and all the fighter jets, that it's just a show of power. I think they were trying to just express, Trump in his way, a showman. He's trying to express power. I was even worried because during that time, when the summit was about to take place, they were actually bombing some parts of Russia in Belgorod. Actually, they were actually trying to escalate in a way. They were saying, I was even worried that they may actually isolate Putin and the other delegation members, try to escalate. I was worried, but eventually I realized they were just trying to just play some power games there. But yeah, that was what is going on right now. So the goal is, let's freeze the conflict. But they're having challenges doing that. Donald Trump is having challenges doing that right now. But I'll stop there.
Jide, I think you're mixing it from Joe Biden's government and Trump's government. Joe Biden's government is to bleed Russia dry. When you look the news, they tell you that Ukraine have lost over 400 and something thousand, and then Russia over 800 and something thousand.
Yeah.
And
So, can I explain something on that? So this is how it works with America's foreign policy. You have the Democrats and you have the Republicans, right? Yeah, right. You're absolutely right. But this is how it works. It's not like Trump just loves Russia and it's like, he wants peace for Russia because he just loves Russia so much. The Republican Party and the Democrat Party, they prioritize their adversaries. I've talked about this before. Like the Democrats, they actually focus on, like you're right, bleeding Russia, escalating with Russia. Those elections that happened last year was very important for what's going on right now. Because now Joe Biden lost power and Trump is in office. So right now, it doesn't mean that there'll be peace in Ukraine and all the sanctions with Russia will go away now that Trump is in power. The sanctions are still there. They're supplying weapons to Russia. But they are not they don't want to prioritize Russia. They want to prioritize China. The Republicans want to prioritize, I don't want to go into the ideological.
So Jide, here comes the thing. What Trump is doing, because Trump always do show of strength, but sometimes Trump show of strength is not show of strength. Trump does not show strength. Trump show bully, which is not good. So when you talk NATO, when Trump fights his European allied about paying their own due of 5% or 3%, as the case may be, France is standing up to say no. France is telling his so-called EU member that we're going to change the goalposts. Because when America fight for you to pay this money, and America quick to pay their own, do you know that almost 79% of the weapon that NATO have comes from America? So if they say everybody pay, you favor America because the money is still coming back to America. It's like this, our mama jotting that they contribute. If I'm to part first, I stress everybody to pay because I want to take the money. So that is what, so France is saying, no, we have to change it. Europe, we have to wake up. You understand? We are going too backward. And the humiliation that Trump humiliates Europe, negotiating Europe, and Europe is not part of the meeting. It's not only about Ukraine. These are the things how they discuss Africa in the absence of Africa. Trump just did the same thing with Europe. Europe, they are so full of ashamed of themselves with what is going on. Even China is laughing at them. Russia is laughing at them. They are discussing your issue in your absence. So this thing is going to go twist and turn in so many ways. Even Ukraine will regret never again. Ukraine will never use themselves again. You understand? For this proxy war that they are doing. Today, America still sanctioned Cuba. You understand? Why do you go foolish yourself like that? And what Trump did with his bully with Europe, I don't think Ukraine will bounce back easily. If there's anything, Ukraine will just be begging for their life for this thing just to end. You understand? But say they will go back again. No, I don't think it will happen.
Right. Thank you,
Mr. Paul.
Thank you. I think we move. Let me see if Mr. James, do you have anything to add before we change topics? Unmute yourself, please.
It's not my area of interest at all. They are talking Greek.
They're speaking. But I was thinking that when you look at that it will help you to understand the activities of these Western or foreign powers in Africa. That's how I look at it. If they treat Ukraine this way, how would they treat African countries?
You see, the way they treat us is the way they've been treating us since, should I say, Vienna Congress of 1815. What's it called? This German...
Berlin.
Berlin. Good. They've not changed anything. So there's nothing I will learn from what they are doing among themselves. This is the same policy they've been implementing in Africa all along. If you read African history carefully, you discover that nothing has changed. It's still colonialism in place. That Berlin Conference of 1884 to 85 is still very much intact, because while they were leaving Africa, they handed power over to men and women of their choice. And not only that, the structures of governance they left is still intact. The parliament they left is the parliament we're still implementing. What's it called? The executive, the judiciary is even worse. If I happen to go to Abakaleke today to steal a goat, if I'm being tried, they will be making reference to somebody who's one Mr. Smith who stole a ship in Birmingham in 1834. What has it got to do with what is happening in Abakaleke? So colonialism is still very much intact. They are still treating us as colonial subjects. Not until we detach ourselves from that setup, nothing will change. So whatever they do among themselves is of very little interest to me.
Okay, so let's. I know you are in the Gambia. There's this story about a coup plot in Mali. Do you know anything about that?
I saw the headline. It's still part of the. I think a general or so was arrested. Am I right?
Yes, there were some army officers there.
Yes. I saw the headlines, but what I think is that the West will not just let things lie low with what is happening in the Sahelian states. You know, in Senegal, France has officially handed over their military hardware and arsenal, everything to the Senegalese government. So militarily, the Senegalese are now on their own. You see, they've lost so much ground, but the problem is, can they continue like this forever? The answer is no, because they relied heavily on the African states to keep themselves going. See what is happening in Ivory Coast. Laurent Gbagbo, sorry, is it Laurent Gbagbo? Ouattara, I think, is going for fourth term. When people are talking about 2 terms, he's going in for 4th term. Apparently with the backing of France. So if there is a coup attempt, or there was a coup attempt in Mali, it's nothing strange. It is their wish for men and women of their choice to control political power all over Africa.
So I'll come back to you, Paul, but let me get to Jide. Let's just touch on this Mali thing and the fact that the French, we know they are not going to completely give up. They are going to find a way to continue to influence countries in Africa. So do you think that's what's going on in Mali and other places?
Yes, I think France was very instrumental in the failed coup attempt that happened earlier this week. They were very, very instrumental. And, you know, this is not a new thing. So what you have is a lot of these regimes that are anti-colonial or anti-imperialists, when they come to power, the West still does everything to sabotage those regimes. You have the situation with Burkina Faso to the same thing. Ibrahim Traoré has had a series of assassination attempts on his life, but it has failed. So a lot of times when a lot of these coups, these orchestrated coups, when they are very successful, it's usually when the security is not cohesive or the people are not on the side of the government, either of the two. So what you have is they will keep doing everything to sabotage the Malian government until they succeed. But it's up to the Malian people and the Malian security architecture and within the military. They are very cohesive and they're in support of the current government. I think they will fail because either way, France will not come and invade Mali. They will always use their proxies. They will always use one of them. Cuba, I'll give another example. There are so many examples of this. Cuba is another example. Fidel Castro, I think up to 2000, I may be wrong, but he had numerous assassination attempts on his life. To the point that I don't even know what happened, but he married he actually married a white American that actually made attempts on his life. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to emphasize how much these Western powers, they do everything to sabotage anti-colonial, anti-imperialist regimes. You know, I can give another example. Chile, they talk about democracy, right? Democracy is the best way moving forward. Democracy is the solution, you know, that humanity needs to focus on, to prioritize. I'm not against democracy, but we saw what happened in Chile during the Cold War. Allende was voted in as the president of Chile. But look at what happened. They used CIA, they propped up criminal elements, traitors, to assassinate Allende, and that assassination was brutal. And the regime that followed, they were CIA agents. And since then, it shattered Chile's economy because the people that are in power at that time, they are the Tinubu of Nigeria today. They are the Tinubu. They implemented neoliberal policies that shattered Chile. You know, I can give so many examples. Congo with Patrice Lumumba. So that's what they do. When they see societies that the government is anti-colonial, anti-imperialist, they try to see where they can exploit. Either they prop up secessionist movements, like in Congo at that time, to destabilize the government and prop up chaos. We're talking about Ukraine. I'll use Ukraine as another example. The war that we're talking about in Ukraine, it didn't start in 2022. It didn't start in 2022. Actually, this war has been going on for a long time, but the war actually started in 2014. Historically, it had been going on before 2014, but I don't want to go into that. 2014, Ukrainians voted in, I don't know if you listen to this, we're talking about anti-colonial, anti-imperialist regimes that are willing to develop their country. I've forgotten his name now. Some may help me on the chat. I've forgotten the name of the president that they elected. I've forgotten his name right now in my head. But he was democratically elected by the Ukrainian people. CIA under Obama, not under Joe Biden. They orchestrated the Maidan revolution, Maidan coup. They call it the colored revolution. I can send documentaries on colored revolution, how it works, to actually destabilize Ukraine and carry out a coup on that government. Since then, Ukraine has not been the same again. I'll stop there. Thank you.
All right, Paul. We're talking about Mali and the colonial powers, whether they are willing to leave Africa alone. I wanted to hear your view before we move on to other topics.
First of all, just say, Jide, you are well grounded. I really, really appreciate it. I'm learning a lot from you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Doctor, to bring the Mali president down, it is easy. I watch one captain in Nigeria. They retire him very early. The guy is well grounded. Captain Babangida Aliu, fondly called Captain Blade. He said something. He said, if you get to the level of just a captain in the military and your family can live in the West, it is finished. You already compromised by default. You already compromised. Look at all the big boys in this Francophone country. They all enjoy their lavish lifestyle in Paris and every other thing. So by the day, they're going to pick every one of them, set them up, do all type of thing, and every other thing, you understand, to make them compromise. The least person that you expect that will betray this guy will be the person that will betray him, just like Uganda to Mobutu and every other thing. It's just the same thing. So they will keep trying and trying and trying. But one part that Jide said that I really, really embrace very well. As at this time, the people like him very well. So because the people like him, he will still enjoy that privilege to some extent. But another factor that will catch up with him is all these terrorists that is put all around. Then tomorrow, by the time you take down some terrorists, then they'll start talking, let us go to the Hague, let us go to the this, genocide, human rights abuse, this and that. Then they'll come with another type of method and everything. Then use the media. I tell people, America lost so many wars, but America can stand tall today in the world because they know how to fight media war. They use the media very well. That's exactly what Qatar is doing with Al Jazeera. If not station like Al Jazeera, nobody will know that Israel is the bad guy. You understand? So these are the things. So this is the power with the media war. So putting all those guys in Paris and everything, if you can't recall anybody in your cabinet from Paris, in fact, don't lose it by Paris because they're going to go as far to trick you and pick somebody from America, pick somebody from England, pick somebody. Once you spread your tentacles like that, it is hard for you to survive because they'll use your trusted ally to get you. So it's going to be very, very tough. Over time, they're going to get him. But the only way that it's going to be easy for him is continuously to learn how to manage these terrorist people, how you can catch them, use your intel very well, catch these people, jail them, don't abuse them, kind of. It's going to help you. Then try within your best how you can develop the economy. And one of the ways to develop the economy, it's also grassroots. You understand? It's also grassroots because when they are trying this thing now, if it's not working, sanction will start coming. What is going on now, because America is not in support with France because of what France is also doing to America. Because France is the one putting all these measures, like I said some minutes ago, about Europe, we need to wake up. We can't continue to dwell in America. And America don't like that thing that France is doing, that Europe, we have to wake up and take our power back than for us to continue to depend on France. So that's why America is not getting involved in it. But if America gets involved with it, they'll take it down. That's what I would say.
All right, thank you so much. I'll come back to you, James and Jide, on Palestinian situation and France leading the quest to recognize the state of Palestine. But Femi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor, and everybody. I particularly like the fact that you're discussing this because sometime last week, I believe it is Saturday or Sunday, we had one of our regular guests who came in at some point when Fofada was presenting at the evening during the evening session, and he basically ran down the fact that we ought to be discussing Nigeria and what have you. And I chose not to respond, but at the time, because I was like, there's no point trying to argue because everybody has the right to say what they want to say. One thing that came to my mind at the time was how interlocked we obviously are, because we cannot keep talking Nigeria without talking about the world. Like you always say, Doctor, you always try to connect, which I believe is always the bottom line of this program. You always try to connect what happens in the greater world, because whether we like it or not, it affects us directly or indirectly. And it's particularly apt that what you're discussing now, I mean, if we're discussing Mali, we're discussing Nigeria, and we're imputing France and by extension, America, Russia, China, and what have you into the equation. Doesn't that already explain away the fact that there's no way you can discuss issues in Nigeria without discussing how it's been influenced, again, rightfully or wrongfully by other parts of the world? And I have a particular fascination by something Macron said at the onset of the uprisings in the various French-speaking African countries that asked the French troops to leave. He seemed to suggest, and I'm not even trying hard enough to paraphrase him, as though it was the African countries that begged France to come to their aid security-wise. Meanwhile, we do not know that was necessarily the case, because even when you go back to history, when France had to leave, they left in a more violent way. In terms of when this same
Algeria. Algeria, what they did in Algeria.
Even the Guinea one, you know, I think it was Guinea.
Yeah,
Guinea
one,
you know, they only dealt with Guinea because the Guineans were not ready to be part of the CFA that they imposed on them. And you know, they did a lot of destructions. So I believe that these guys are not going anywhere easily, especially with the Russians trying to make inroads here. And I feel, again, the way things are interconnected, you see what's happening in the Middle East with the Europeans initially trying to support Israel at all costs. Of course, we know US is the major culprit in this matter. It's tied a lot. I said last week, and I believe a lot of us will agree that all of what is happening is all tied together. The Middle East crisis, the Ukraine Russia war, because one of the things I can clearly see from listening to people I believe know better, a lot of these commentators, Gide, for example, can relate to. I think Ukraine, in a way, is a form of distraction from what how Russia is trying to provide troops and resources to African countries. That's just the way I feel, because I mean, it's by no means a mistake that certain crises just seem to pop out of nowhere. And if you really dig deep, there's always something tied to it that does not. If for the casual observer, when you listen again attentively, if you put two and two together, you know that there's a reason why certain things are happening. Certain crises are created by the West.
Thank you, Femi. Paul, Palestinian state. Is it possible for France, Australia, and all their friends coming to New York next month? They are coming next month, and one of the things they are going to propose is recognition of
Doctor,
no?
Doctor, I know you're a gentleman. You are not a bad boy, so you may not really know much. But fella said he say waiting unite inside United Nations. By the time 4 of these 5 countries will vote against it, if only United States veto it, that is just the end. Nothing will happen. So it don't mean anything. You understand? It don't mean anything. It's all about 100 and everything. So it won't happen. It won't happen. If there's anything that will make anything better, it's continuously how they can be pushing, like what I see, what Tucker did, interviewing that lady and everything. How the Christians, how they can keep pushing to make them understand how the Jewish state hates the Christians. You understand? Then the evangelical in the US will start pushing more. Will now understand that it's about Jewish, because truth be told, an average white people don't really get along with Jewish people. You understand? So when they understand that, because the evangelical see this thing called Israel like a promised land, some of them understand that take that Palestinian, because it's like the evangelical, that shame of Christ was born in Palestine. Now, not the so-called Israel, in Palestine. So the evangelical, to some extent, they want them to take that place so that it will not look like he was born in Palestine. But when they start understanding that they also hate the Christians and everything, maybe the goalposts will change. These are the things. But other than that, for Australia, Italy, France, all these power people to come vote, if only America veto it, then it don't mean anything. You understand? And America is not changing. And doctor, you must understand something and everything. An average American politician, good percentage of them, with what they're doing with APAC, these guys are corrupt. And APAC controlled American politicians and everything. They control them. So there's nothing will happen. Remember, when we talk about America, it is private organizations that sell these weapons. It's not the US government. The US government only approved. It is private organization, and these are the people that fund their election. These are the people that bribe them. They work for them, Nikki Haley and the likes. So there's nothing will happen. They want to sell weapons. When you see all this crisis going on all around and everything, if they push one problem in Nigeria, then in turn, Nigerian government will buy weapons. If they push another problem in Ghana, in turn, Ghanaian government will buy weapons. So it will not happen. They like it. They enjoy it. You understand? They're losing. It won't happen.
All right. Thank you. Let me go to James. Mr. James, Palestinian states. Paul mentioned Nigerian state buying weapons. I know they just approved about $300 and something million, I think. weapons they bought from America, and they said that, okay, we are going to deal with these terrorists in Nigeria now after getting these weapons. Mr. James, what's your view?
Yeah, let me just quickly say something about selling weapons to Nigeria to fight terrorism. It's an exercise in futility. To fight terrorism in Nigeria, what they need is intelligence network. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not a conventional war. This is how America went to Vietnam, and they lost the war because they were not prepared for guerrilla war. This is a guerrilla war the country is facing. That is the issue with buying weapons from America. And besides, it's very likely that there must be some deals behind the scene, inflating contracts and things like that. And what have you? I mean, so you see, the Nigerian, I'll come to Israel, the Nigerian, what's it called, security system, organizations or whatever it's called, they seem not to know what they are doing. I think it was the days of, I think there was one Nigerian NSO boss they called Rafin Dadi. Is it Rafin Dadi? I can't remember the name. That was during the military era. They had a system they were using to recruit people into the Nigerian security service. They go to orphanage homes. There are some women, careless women, when they give birth to children, they throw them away. The children eventually find themselves in orphanage homes. They grow up without moral attachment to any family. That was where they were recruiting most of their personnel from. But as time goes on, everything's scattered. The Nigerian security system needs to be properly organized. And secondly, the political will to solve the security problem in Nigeria is lacking. Is it Dubai or Emirates brought a list of sponsors of terrorism to the Nigerian government? Till today, I don't even know anything about it. Yet we're saying we are fighting terrorists. I mean, a lot of things are happening on the political, arena. Since Bola Tinubu came to office, a lot of people have been killed in Benue or Plateau State. It's as if nothing is happening at all. It's as if they are not Nigerians. Are they telling me that, is it not the security forces I was used to while I was in Nigeria? Because when I was in Benin City in those days, if you wake up to find a dead man, maybe along Akpakpava, a corpse along Akpakpava or second circular road, give the Nigerian police 1 week. They will tell you how the corpse got there. But the main problem then was money will never let them tell the truth. But the ability to investigate, they have it in abundance. So this is what I see with the Nigerian Security Service. There's no need buying fighter planes and what have you. Then the Israeli problem, as Mr. Paul rightly said, there's nothing united at the United Nations. Those countries that are threatening to recognize the state of what's called Palestine, I think they are just bluffing because they know where they meet, what they discuss, and those kind of things. But what is bothering me about the problem is this. The Arab nations, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and what have you, Kuwait and other, what are they doing about this problem? Because they are all Arabs. I really don't know. When America pulled out of Afghanistan, Afghan nationals were clinging onto the plane to fly to America. If there's problem in Afghanistan, what stopped the Arab nations from admitting their people, fellow Muslims, instead of going to, if any of them is talking about seeking asylum today, they are going to Britain, America, and other places, which they call the Great Satan. You will never hear an Afghan saying that I'm going to Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Iraq, or whatever it is, to seek political asylum. While we Africans had problems with the apartheid regime in South Africa, almost all African countries were united in fighting that war diplomatically. None they take sides openly with South Africa as far as that war is concerned. And we were able to win that war with bare hands. With all the money, crude oil, resources, and what have you, in the Arab world, why can't they use their influence on the international arena to give their people a home state. It's an insult on the Arab race, if I'm to put it in that way. And Trump is not the one to solve this problem, because when he was in office during the first term, he is the one who moved the embassy of Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Tel Aviv was the capital of Israel in those days. During this, because of this wahala, they moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. But most embassies refused to go to Jerusalem. It was during Trump's time they moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So this same man is deceiving you and me that is going to solve the Arab problem overnight. What I'm foreseeing is that they want to occupy the land the way they occupy Golan Heights. You remember they seized Golan Heights during the 6-day war. And up to today, they've refused to relinquish an inch of Golan Heights. So this is exactly what is going on in Palestine. They are in for a very rough time, take it or leave it. As long as the Arab nations are failing to live up to their responsibility. It's even laughable that is the Persians, that's the Iranians, who are taking it as their responsibility to liberate Palestine, not the Arab people. I cannot understand their style of reasoning. And by nature, anyway, let me stop there.
All right, thank you, Mr. James. Let's go.
Doctor, sorry, I want to put one question to Mr. James. Mr. James, don't you think that Saudi Arabia, the Qataris of this world, the Bahrains of this world, good percent of businesses that they do it with the global West, with the Americans and everything. And all these countries, by American standard, they are all dictatorship. If they go against America, they will look like Palestine. They will look like the so-called Yemen. That's why they are scared. You understand? That's why they are scared. Not like they don't want them. And if America know how to like them very well, encourage Alaska that they did that thing. Is the biggest state in America. Alaska as a size is bigger than Nigeria. Alaska is still under 10% developed. Pack those people to Alaska. Why are you telling the Arab people? If you have compassion for human beings, take them and move them to Alaska. Like they moved some Sudanese to Arizona. They move good percentage of people from Rwanda to Minnesota and everything. Move them. Move them out so that you can give your beloved Israel to take all the whole land. Since the people like to go to the West, they never want to go to Pakistan and other places. Let America move them to Alaska. They will go.
The problem they have in that region also is this. The kings, the Saudi king, the Qatari king, the Kuwaiti kings, they do business with the West. But the ordinary people on the streets of these Arab countries, they have nothing to do with the West. There are so many Arabs today, if you give them asylum, free of charge to go to the West, they will decline. It is the kings they are doing businesses with, just like in Nigeria. They are doing business with the political class in Nigeria, not you and me. So this is the problem they also face in the region.
But it is the governments that grant refugee status and asylum status. You understand? And they are scared of doing anything that will involve this global West. They are scared.
All right, let's hear from other people. Thank you, Paul. Let's hear from Jide. I see a Colonial Master, and then I think someone just came in. Desta. Jide, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Damages. Yeah, honestly, Brother Paul and Mr. James have said a lot of things, but now I'm going to actually give another twist. They said a lot of things already, but I'll give another twist to some of the things they've said. So, in my opinion, and from my analysis and my research, I think the Arabs themselves, they are in the process of committing social-political suicide. And you see, if you look at during the Cold War, when the Palestine struggle was also going on at that time, you had the PLO and you had the Soviet Union. They were in support of the PLO. Then you had the formation of Hezbollah. You had a formidable resistance against the Zionists that are running things in Israel, right? And at that time, in 1990, I think in 1992 or 1994, I can't remember the year exactly, under Bill Clinton, there was an agreement that was signed, to ensure that they'll begin the process of achieving a Palestinian state under the PLO at that time. Now, what happened around that time that led to where we are today? To summarize it, you see, that movement that was supposed to be secular and was supposed to be organic, like you had the South African movement with the apartheid, that eventually was successful thanks to the unity of African, the African countries and all the other strategies they used, was because of the religious ideological factor. So the point I'm making is the so-called Arabs and radical Muslim ideology that was implemented and orchestrated by the Wahhabists, by the Arab monarchs, and trained by the CIA has led to the sabotage and beginning of the end of this struggle. Why it is where it is today, and it's almost like it's going to be a never end. It's going to be a struggle that is now more difficult to solve now than at that time. So why am I saying it is there's a religious ideological factor to this? After the fall of the Soviet Union, after the fall of the communists that put pressure on Israel, using the PLO to support that struggle, you have the Hamas that was used by MI6, that was trained by MI6 to stop. They played a role in what made Hamas today. They played a key role, the Zionists. Hamas, as a political faction, sabotaged that movement. That was why there were a series of terrorist attacks after that agreement. Then you had right-wing Israelis that took power. People like the current president and others, I can't remember their name right now. Those right-wing elements now decided that, okay, it's now more of a religious, an ideological and religious agenda. It had been going on before then, but that was actually what sabotaged it, the extremist religious factor. Now, Hamas became an enemy. The so-called jihadists, they sabotaged the movement that was supposed to help win the Palestinian struggle, which is communism. They supplanted ISIS and Al-Qaeda, Mujahideen, Taliban, all these guys, they were fighting the communists. Now, currently, the so-called jihadists, those terrorists, they are still killing our people in Nigeria, carrying out different sabotage. They are not helping the people in Palestine. The Wahhabist sections too, what are they doing? They are doing the same thing. They're not really fighting, they're not helping the Palestinian struggle. They're actually going to kill innocent people and expand Islam, quote unquote, using CIA. CIA, CIA uses them as kind of like a play, like agents. So why am I saying this? I think the religious ideological extremes actually made this solution actually more difficult. When it was a communist-supported and backed struggle, we were moving towards a real solution. But because of the Zionist aspects, the Wahhabists and terrorist Islamic aspects, the extremist Islamic aspects, now we are going to a point of apocalypse. It's about the winner take it all. Now they're fighting Iran. Now the agenda is to expand Israel beyond just Palestine to across the whole Middle East. So now we're currently, it's going to be an all-out war for there to be a solution at this point. Unless if they go back to the secular way of doing things. I don't know how it's going to be solved, but I'll stop there. Thank you.
All right, Jide, thank you so much. We hear from Colonial Master and Dexter, and then we take a break, and then we move back to other stories. Colonial Master.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this discussion became convoluted because you brought up one topic, and of course it went different ways. And you started off with the France issue, declaring a Palestinian state. And I'll say, unlike what I heard earlier, it is inevitable. Okay, each time, at least using the example of South Africa, each time we have seen an apartheid state, a state where a foreign entity invades the state and then takes over from the natives and starts ruling them brutally, what happens usually is what is about to happen to Israel, where inevitably Israel becomes a pariah amongst the League of Nations. Israel becomes ostracized. and Israel will become relegated to the doldrums of history where it rightfully belongs. I think with regards to France and Norway and Spain and the rest of them insisting that there has to be a Palestinian state, I think it's a bit too late, but never too early. And I say that because what we've seen with what happened in Palestine, what's currently happening in Gaza, is we are seeing how desensitized people are. We're seeing how vicious humanity has become, how evil, how wicked people can be in the face of not only starvation, which is actually a later part of the brutality that Gazans have been facing. But we have to remember for almost 16 months, men, women, children, old people, infants were getting blown up, burnt, shot in the head. And the whole world just watched. And what did the world do? The world just complained and really didn't do anything about it. Now, instead of France being a leader in the EU coming out and saying, well, listen, what we're going to do is place, for example, an arms embargo on Israel. They haven't done that. They're saying that they could have easily placed financial sanctions on Israel, restricted trade, reduced diplomatic interaction with them. They haven't done that. What they're telling us now is we're going to wait a little bit, go to the United Nations, sit with the Security Council, knowing fully well that the United States could easily veto whatever proposition they bring on. So I'll say, as someone just mentioned, I think it was G-Day, a few days ago, Netanyahu, or actually this is, I've actually mentioned this a while back, where I mentioned the Greater Israel Project. It was argued on this show, of course, but like today rightfully brought up, Netanyahu has come up a few days ago and he's saying, we're going to expand. And this has actually put Saudi Arabia in a position where they didn't want. Paul also said something I've been reiterating on this show forever. The problem is not the Islamic world not speaking up. The problem is what is going to happen when they speak up. And I think this is what the United States has been wanting. This is what people like Israel want. The moment the Arab states, the Qataris, the Bahrainis, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, they speak up, automatically what happens in the West? It becomes a religious war. So they've been put between a rock and a hard place where it's either we speak up and then America comes after us. Like America recently threatened, who was it that spoke about sanctions? Ireland. America recently threatened Ireland. If you go ahead with this embargo that you and these sanctions that you insist on placing on Tel Aviv, we are going to do worse to you. So just imagine if Ireland was not a Christian state. What if Ireland was Saudi Arabia? What would have happened to them? So I think at this point, for me, the frustration is the hypocrisy that the world is playing. People are starving. People are dying. Over conservative accounts right now say over 700,000 people have died in Gaza. That's almost half of the population of Gaza, a population of 2 million people. And the world just sits back and the world just watches. And then you have people on here mistakenly, when I say on here, I don't mean on the show, I mean on earth, mistakenly thinking this has some kind of religious connotation to it. Granted, the Zionists are crazy. That was a timer for me. So
Go ahead.
Granted, designers have their own agenda, their own religious agenda, where they think they're gonna usher in the Messiah. If you know about the red heifer sacrifice that they just conducted, that once it gets accepted, then they wait for the building of the third temple. So granted, they have their own crazy religious ideology. But that does not preclude the world from taking action on what is currently happening. And again, I think my own frustration is just, why isn't the world speaking up? It's not a case of why aren't the Arabs speaking up? Why isn't the world doing something about it? Why hasn't Israel right now been cut off? Why haven't they been relegated and ostracized? Just leave them where they want to be. They want to be on their own. Let them be on their own. Why is everybody still doing business with them? Why is the United States still giving them arms? You know, at some point, I think the world has to face these things. And I think when all of this is said and done, the world is going to look back. And for those that supported this carnage going on in Gaza, and we have some of them on here a lot of times, I think at some point when they realize they are on the wrong side of history, they need to look in the mirror and realize that they are very wicked, evil, unhinged, and demented people.
All right. Thank you, Colonel Master. Dexter, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dr. Damages and everyone. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Damages. Yeah, I think the topic we're talking on is related to this Israel stuff.
Yeah, we moved from Trump all the way and around Mali, and now we are.
Have we done Nigeria? We have not done Nigeria yet.
No, we're going to Nigeria after a break. We take a break after you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Well, what should I say? I don't think there's any time in history of the world where we have actually found global peace anywhere. You know, so, but well, if we can achieve peace somehow, I think what you see, the uniqueness of human beings is this. If the person that can achieve peace is not, in quotes, the person that is in my political leaning, you find out that human beings would oppose the peace that person is bringing. They will throw spanners into it, irrespective of whether the peace is good or not. That's just the uniqueness of human beings, you know. So it's a very difficult situation. That's what I would say. Very difficult situation. Whoever is there, I don't admire any of them. It's a very difficult situation. The geopolitics, any of us, people can be on either side of it, and everybody on every side will say, oh, I'm the right person and I'm on the other side. You know, moving to what's happening in Gaza, killing of children. I mean, there's no joy in cutting down human flesh, irrespective of who it is, you know. But one of my moral lessons I always say is, I tell everybody, I tell my colleagues at work, you do unto others what you want them to do to you. That's one of my moral lessons. If I'm going to do something to someone and I know that I won't like it being done to me, then I shouldn't do it. Well, and why am I saying so? You know, one of the things when I hear us, especially Nigerians, you know, as much as the war that is very bad that is happening in Gaza is very, very bad. You know, whichever side of it you stay is bad. So killing of human beings, we should not accept that. But, you know, when I hear Nigerians say that, it just icks me. Why does it ick me? Rwanda as a country went through a civil crisis, and Rwanda actually had the moral to come out and say, look, we did wrong. We did wrong on our part, and we'll make sure this doesn't happen again. But when I hear Nigerians speak, it's like our own house is a mess, and we want to have the high moral ground to tell people what to do. I feel it doesn't really sit well with me, because Nigeria is a mess. You know, it's a big mess. You have killings happening. And the same Nigeria, and you look, it's something that just flows everywhere. You can see it permeating through every system of the country. It's a big mess, and you have people that would not be able to speak up against it. But the moment is something outside, like, you know, whether religious, whether it's the Christians, Israel is the what do you call it? God's chosen people. Oh, whether it's the Muslims, jihad, whatever. They go up in arms and they are fighting for it and telling how we are giving solution, how it will happen. You know, how we can't get historical background, how this is why it's like this and this why and this what must happen. And come on, but your own house our own house is smelling of shit. Our own house is smelling of shit. You had a pogrom in Nigeria. You had a genocide in Nigeria. And we cannot even come out and say it happened. We can't. You have Nigerians that cannot even come out. If you want to have that discussion, recently, Obi Won wanted to talk, and they say no. Speaking Hausa. They guard him. And you have people in the young generation that cannot even tell the truth of what happened. We cannot even sit down and say to ourselves, let us actually get a truthful account of this thing so that we don't make the mistake. But we are so quick to go and talk about the history of people that are far away in the Middle East. We take one history book, and the historical book we take is somebody's political view. It's different political views, and that is the political view, and then we take it as hook, line, and sinker. And then we now start pontificating on what the peace should be and which side we're on. I just feel like, you know, I feel really bad when I see that, you know, as Nigerians, because the truth is that you're rising. They said a man can only rise when you understand yourself first. You understand? So, and I think that when the African race, they said Nigeria is like the leader of the African race, you know, it just shows how how we are not actually realizing that the fullness of our potential is not realized when we start jumping and talking about other people's places. It's when we make our place the heaven we are talking about. It's not to talk about how these people achieve peace. We've not even talked about how we achieve peace in Nigeria. And the truth is that many people cannot even come out and justifiably talk about it. Because the moment everybody would just start taking into some proclivities, that it's not going to yield any good. And that tells us how the world is. You know, France is fighting for their interests. America is fighting for their interests. Everybody is going to fight for their interests. So why don't we take our own home interest first? You know, so, well, what happens in Israel, I think, is where we can give opinions. I don't support the killing of people. If there's a way they can achieve peace, they should try and achieve peace. That's what I would say. If there's a way they can achieve peace, both parties, the Arab world should come together and put pressure for them to achieve peace. I'm sure there is a way they can achieve peace between the Arab world and Israel. They need to try and come together. And the truth is that to achieve peace, it comes with compromises. That's the truth. Achieving peace comes with there's no peace that is not achieved without a compromise. There's nowhere peace is achieved without a compromise. It comes with compromises. And they have to be able to sit down together and make justifiable compromises to achieve peace. The same thing in Ukraine. You know, it's not about whether it's Trump, or let's forget about the Trump brouhaha. The point is that we want peace in the world. All of us want peace in the world. And those people that are the stakeholders need to come together and sit down and make the compromises for them to achieve peace. We don't live there with them. We don't live in Ukraine, you know, but the people they are living, and there's no good in us, you know, saying things that will not yield peace. That's my point. You can't be saying things that will not drive towards peace, things that will only expand it. No, let us make them. We need to, the Ukrainians, as much as we were fighting for their rights and fighting for their sovereignty, the Russians, as much as they have their own whatever, we must come. If not, we just live in a world where wars will continue, and it's become a perpetuity. If that's what we want to. So that's my 1 cent contribution, Dr. Damages. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dexter. I wish I can respond to you. you know, but that will not be fine for time sake. For fathers, I'll give you a minute or two to weigh in so that we take a break. What do you think about the issues?
And all the issues. Okay. If it's the Trump one, I think. Sorry. Greetings, everyone. To you, Dr. W, the chat, and to the viewers, and greetings to the panelists. This, you know, I hope Nigerians are learning the right lessons from what is going on with Putin and Trump. Losers, nobody cares about you. Weak people, nobody cares about you. This is a guy that was sanctioned to the helm. In short, Americans ran out of sanctions. And how many days ago he was in the American beast riding with the president? Yeah, that's what happens when you are a loser. Nobody cares about you. We have not been sanctioned. Nothing has happened to us. But let Tinubu go and ride with the president. Let's see how far it gets. Because nobody cares about people that are weak. I've been saying this before. When I observe the Soviet Union fall and the economy go into the hands of the mafia, and Americans were calling Russia a third-rate country in the media, by the way. You were looking down at Russia. I was like, no, that's not true. Even then, I knew that it's all about power in the end. And when Putin came, within 4 years, they are back. You will find it easier to recover when you have power. If you don't have power, you can be nice to them. You can go into the wilderness. It's not going to matter. You're still going to be a loser. No matter what happens to Putin, he's still going to emerge the more powerful. As a matter of fact, even North Korea is going to emerge more powerful than us. Because this is the game of the world. It's just the game of the world. And we are not learning the right lesson. Tomorrow now, people will go, let's go and look for food. Let's go and worry about the economy. No, nobody cares about you. If you have not cracked the atom, you not build ballistic missiles, you don't have medicine submarines, why should anybody listen to you? You are a loser, period. I won't. If I was from, why would I listen to Nigeria? And this is the thing I keep telling our people. If you are able to defend your interests, no matter what they call you today, no matter what they call you tomorrow, you are still going to emerge. They will treat you like as equals. And before you know it, they will start giving. Look at if what's his name? Putin came yesterday and said, you know what? I'm just going to concede one little ground. Trump will jump through the roof and say he has signed a peace deal with him. Because Putin doesn't want to give ground at all, because he knows there's nothing you can do to him. What can you do to him? All he asked for was, hey, Ukraine, don't join NATO. How is that too much to ask by any nation? By any objective standard? They didn't say Ukraine cannot join European Union so that their people can live better. Don't join NATO. How is that even hard? And some people, they don't even have any sense of, okay, what is fair here and what is not fair. What is fair is Ukraine should not join NATO because it's a threat to Russia. It's a military alliance. In other words, if Ukraine does something wrong to Russia, if Russia wanted to reply, Russia cannot. Because if Russia replies, it triggers a war with the entire NATO.
Yeah,
and this
Article 5.
And this nation is next door to you. They can mess with you anyhow. So Russia says, you know what, don't. Just join the European Union. We don't have any problem with you aspiring to be richer. So if for me, it's very clear. And if you are having issues with moral clarity on this one, I don't know how to help you with moral clarity. But in terms of the outcomes of this meeting, it doesn't matter, because in the end, one way or the other, they will have to settle. This is what power does. And Russia is not going to give ground. They like it or not, they will never give ground. Americans started it, and Russia is going to end it. Just like Americans start all kinds of wars, other people help them end it. This is the war. The reason why they started this war, we don't even know. We just think we know why they started it. We don't really know. Even the Afghanistan war, people think that they know the reason why the war happened. Maybe they are achieving their actual goal with the war that's happening in NATO right now. You don't know fully until everything unravels. After all, when the First World War was happening, did you know that America was going to emerge at the top? Yeah, they were funding Russia against Germany. They were behind the scenes. Punning it because until the whole war ended, then you know the game they've played. And they inherited the war because of it. So let's not worry too much about what is going on. I just believe that Russia has the right to defend itself. I think from the point of view of Nigerians, we should learn what power does. And if we get our act together, this is what you are going to be getting. They will be bribing you with all kinds of wealth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Is it okay if I just give like
a
minute?
No. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we talk about Nigeria. I'm sorry. I'm calling.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nigeria. There are a lot of things going on in Nigeria as we speak. The president is out of the country. The Senate president, we don't know where he is. And there's by-elections in several states, in Anambra, in Kano, in Kaduna. There are reports of violence, vote buying. Everything is just back to what it used to be. And that says a lot about what will happen to us come 2027. All right, we'll go on a break. We'll come back, we discuss this.
reforms at the initial stage of his administration, and now he's told Nigerians that the economy is turning the corner. What's the WTO's perception of Nigeria's economy?
So we think that the president and his team, and we just exchanged with him, have worked hard to stabilize the economy. And you cannot really improve an economy unless it's stable. So he has to be given the credit for the stability of the economy. So the reforms have been in the right direction. What is needed next is growth. We now need to grow the economy, and we need to put in social safety nets so that people who are feeling the pinch of the reforms can also have some support to be able to weather the hardship. So that's the next step. How do we build social safety net to help Nigerians cushion the hardship they're feeling? And then how do we grow the economy so we can create more jobs and put more money in people's pockets? These are issues that we discussed with Mr. President.
All right, that was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala reporting on her visit to Bola Tinubu before the president left the country for Brazil, Japan, and wherever he's going. Already the Senate president is out of the country. We don't know whether he's sick or well, or whether he can walk, but we know that he's out of the country. There are elections going on, by-elections going on across the country. These signs, the reports we're getting, it shows that we haven't learned anything. This is controlled election in very few places yet. All the issues in past elections are showing up again. So we want to discuss all these under 45 minutes. Good luck. Okay, let me start with you, Mr. James. This is your alley. I mean, we're not talking about US. We're talking about your country, Nigeria. What do you make of any of these topics? You can pick it from any angle. You don't have to talk on everything. So if you're interested in Tinubu being out of the country, I don't know how many times we're going to talk about that. The question is really, why is he going to Brazil again? He was there just a few weeks ago. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to talk about Mr. Tinubu. As for the lady, Okonjo-Iweala, I think she's telling us what she feels we would like to hear, not what she discussed with the president. If the economy has been stabilized, in economics, maybe somebody here can enlighten me, what does it mean for an economy to be stabilized? And despite the billions of dollars we borrowed from all over the world, we are not seeing the effect. Now, when Brazil in the 70s and 80s, if I'm not mistaken, they ran into economic problems, they went to IMF, borrowed money from different countries, they invested the money into engineering and construction works and what have you, and it is the outcome they are benefiting today in Brazil. Brazil is moving into very fast towards industrialization. Very fast towards industrialization because of the structures they put in place. The monies we are borrowing from all over the world, what exactly are we doing? Do we have programs? I mean, like in the United States, for example, everything has programs. Policies on trade, on transportation, on agriculture, and what have you. What is our policy on trade as a nation? What is our policy on agriculture? Are we implementing any plan, sowing seeds that will germinate tomorrow? The answer is no. So what exactly is the woman talking about? In my opinion, she's just vomiting unadulterated nonsense because it's destitute of common sense. That is how I see her.
James, thank you so much for that input. Let me point out, because some people accuse me of not reading the comments in the comment section. I do read them, not everything. Someone wanted to know, why am I interested in where the Senate president is? I'm happy that someone else.
It has been rumored that the man died, but I found out that it's not true.
No, he didn't die.
The rumor circulated, but I found out that it's not true.
Yeah.
So we should be interested. You see, he's the number 3 citizen of the country. Whatever they do in that house affects you and me on unborn generations. So we should be highly interested in what is going on.
And also when he's abroad and he's spending our money.
Good. So and when people don't speak up, They just take things for granted. People spoke. That is why this KWAM 2 woman was able to get out of Kirikiri prison. If you and me had kept quiet, the woman would have still been there today. And Mr. Festus Kayamo and his people will be having a very, I don't know what to say. So we should be interested. They are servants of the people. They are not elected to kill the people. But that is precisely what they are doing. Even during elections, they give guns to thugs to kill people you are promising to serve. This is the country we are living in. So we must be interested in what they are doing.
All right. Thank you, James. All right, Paul. Nigerian stories. Take it from any angle.
Let me just touch on Akpabio a little bit and in a fun way and everything. What you see with all these politicians, whenever they put up anything, even though in the small 3-bedroom flat private schools in Nigeria, they'll put like 100 country flag. They'll say world-class school, and they don't have any branch even in West Africa, but they say it's a world-class school. When they build hospitals, they say world-class hospital, but when they fall ill, they go to abroad to go treat themselves. And the one that they go to abroad is not part of their own. That will say, oh, this is our franchise of our hospital that will have a branch in Germany, in France, or in the US. You understand? So I want to ask them again, please stop building world-class hospital. Build state-class hospital so that you can be in your state and treat yourself. Because when they call it world-class, then they go to outside the country because they want to use world-class hospital. It's just funny and everything. Our Senate president will fall ill. I saw him when they were leading him. He was limping badly. It looked like he had partial stroke. I use the word that it looked like he couldn't walk. One of the hands can't move. And with the other hand, he was using his third leg. He was with a cane, a walking stick, like we call it in Nigeria. And everything. And we are treating it like rumor because there's no official statement. Nobody's talking to us. You understand? Some other people will look us like enemy of progress, we backbite and everything. I just think it's a shame the way we waste taxpayers' money, the way we do all these things. And these are the things that emanate, that make in Canada, a judge has already described us, the APC and PDP, as a terrorist party and everything, which is true to some extent, because what is the meaning of what they are doing? You understand? And it's a shame. We cannot run a nation like this. We don't have a policy statement, like you said. There is no policy statement. We treat issue by the goal. You understand? Like the way we have our king. The king don't have anything to say. There's no policy. The king word is yea and amen. You understand? Just say forgive, you forgive. Don't forgive, they don't forgive. That's how we run a nation. It can never work. Mr. James already said it. Okonjo-Iweala is just trying to micromanage what she's saying. Just try as much as possible to tell us what we want to hear and everything. Other than that, nothing more, nothing less. That's all I'll say for now.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Dexter.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. The reality of the way nations are is that your leader represents the moral structure of your country. Like you have in America today, your leader represents the moral structure. So what we have today in Nigeria, you have a president who is moral leaning, we all know it, So what do you expect? Truth is that Okonjo-Iweala has been in that position. She has been in a position where she has to speak good about the country. She has to say what she has to say. That's the way I see it. She has to say what she has to say. She doesn't have any other option. That's the only thing she can say. What else do you want her to say? She can't say anything different from what she said. But what I found quite interesting in Nigeria is that the whole KWAM 1 situation, because you have a government that is literally saying we support terrorism, because that's what it is. That guy literally hijacked a jet and the government comes out and say, "Oh, we make you ambassador." But that just tells you exactly where we are. And until Nigerians can, Andrew, this situation is not going to be solved by one person. It has to be solved by Nigerians. And until Nigerians can come out and speak to the situation, we go nowhere. You know, we go nowhere at all on it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dexter. Colonial Master. You're muted, Colonial Master.
All right, so yeah, forefathers is laughing. I named the child after him. So what I don't understand, right, from the criticisms that I'm hearing from Mr. James and Dexter is, are we saying Okonjo-Iweala was wrong in her analysis? I mean, yes, they've said she was wrong, but if we're to go by the records, at least what is being published by the NBS, the Bureau of Statistics, there is definitely stability in the economy. I mean, you have to look at it. What are the elements of stability? They're not saying the economy has recovered, because she rightfully said what we need to look forward to next is growth. So what are the elements of a stable economy? Low unemployment, steady financial systems, stability in managing inflation. These basically are some of the elements that encompass a stable economy. So if you look at it, and if you look at least again, if we are to rely on the NBS, inflation dropped last month. Well, in June, they haven't recorded last month. In June, it went from approximately 22%, almost 23%, down to 21%. So you look at it, you look at the currency, how it used to fluctuate. To a large extent, it's stable. Is Nigeria having success in terms of infrastructure? I would say, at least from the outside looking in, yeah. You look at the East-West Road, you're laughing, Rudolph, but yeah, I mean, a lot of monies are obviously being pilfered. We agree. But at least on paper and the little we're seeing, there at least is some investment in infrastructure area. Again, we have to always look at the records, not our emotions. The records say unemployment is going down in Nigeria. The records say inflation is going down in Nigeria. So for these reasons, I don't think it's a case of Mrs. Iweala was just trying to assuage the feelings of Nigerians or kowtow to the whims and caprices of the president. I think she was just saying, based on this, the evidence that I'm looking at, I mean, she's in a better position than all of us. Based on what I'm seeing, Nigeria is on the right path. Let's give credit to who credit is due, and let's just move to the next step, which is aim for growth. And I think at that point, then we can say, yeah, there was growth in the economy, or it regressed, or it retrogressed, or we're going backward. But for now, they're saying it's moving forward. And I think I tend to lean on her side based on the evidence in front of me.
All right. Thank you. Forefathers.
Yeah, thank you. From listening to her analysis, you can see that she is a kind of trying to avoid coming across as if she's criticizing the president. She used the term that the country is heading in the right direction. There is growth. She didn't necessarily talk about what created that instability and chaos in the economy. You see, this is where Nigerians, almost all that I've seen, it's only a few. For some reason, I don't understand how they can pick up facts of life. This government have performed the worst in the world in the last 70 years. I tried to find any other government that during peacetime, they've reduced the GDP of that country by more than half in 1 year. It doesn't exist. The country is not under sanction, nothing. They collapse the GDP of a country by more than 50% in 1 year. In terms of the value of the dollar, it doesn't exist. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what is going on? Let me try to simplify it. If you assign somebody to take care of your house, and your house was worth $500,000, within a year, that person drops, completely crashes your property to the point whereby the value of your property is worth $180,000 within a year. And then he did some magic with the paperwork and everything, then raises it back to around $240 after 2 years. $240. Would you be thanking that person managing the economy or your property? You wouldn't be. That is the macro level effect of what this government has done. The Nigerian country is cheaper by threefolds, while for us to buy something from overseas is more expensive for us threefold. That's how simple it is. It's not even that complicated. He says he's trying to save us money that we use for foreign exchange. Do you know how much they spent just last year or this year, the first half of this year, to defend the naira? It's more than 3 billion, if I'm not mistaken, the last number I checked. This is a floated currency. They are still defending it. Because the forces that are responsible for needing defense is not something you control using floating. But they pretend as if that's what it is. Nigeria will have an administration problem. Our government will pretend as if it's a policy problem. We are very, very easy to manipulate and very easy. And it scares me because I'm not even an economist. But yeah, the numbers are there for anybody to see. I'm not making it up. If you give me your property at $500,000, the next 2 years, it's worth $240,000. What kind of situation is that? You shouldn't be thanking that person. You should be saying, you've created this mess, you better smoothen it out. And based on estimation, the current Tinubu government, he was saying that when he comes into office, he's going to turn the Nigerian economy to a $1 trillion economy. Based on my analysis and our current growth rate, it's going to take 22 years. That's how far back he set Nigeria. 22 years. So when your country is being capped, you may want to notice it. If he wants to retrace his step, yes. If he taps into Dangote refinery, which I don't know why they haven't, because after many years, Dangote refinery, more than a year, has been operational, but yet we are still importing 69% of our petrol from this in overseas. That shouldn't be happening. The Nigerian currency should be strengthening by now, but it's not, is it? It tells you that there's something that they are doing that is not right. Even our demand and our purchase of petroleum has dropped, but yet the currency has barely improved. Why? Why are they still defending it? See, a word is enough for the wise, but I'll leave it at that. Regarding the KWAM 1 business and KWAM 2, and maybe there will be a KWAM 3 very soon. You never know. Nigeria, we are very talented at doing these things. You see, this quack economy, let him go away. Just a year man. The idea of Nigeria, we've elevated the art of elevating wrongdoers. We do that all the time. Imagine these two people are wrongdoers, and we are arguing as if there's any morality on their side. They should be punished for what they've done. But Nigerians, as crazy as we are, oh, this one did wrong, you should be arguing that the other side get punished more. And instead of that side to get punished more, guess what the government did, or whoever made the decision? They elevated the crazy wrongdoer on the other side up again. All of them, from the airline, all of them should have been punished for breaking the rules. What kind of a country you have when you don't enforce rules? If you don't enforce rules, then what you are doing is basically saying, you know, all the what you are saying to all the people that follow rules, you are stupid. You know what you are saying to all the people that are ethical, that have integrity, you are stupid. That's basically what Nigeria reinforces constantly. Why would the country function when you are busy elevating the wrongdoers? Because all the people with morality, integrity, people that think before they act, civility, people like Peter Obi that they like to hate so much, they will not rise. Because you are busy elevating crazy people when you should be punishing them. Why would you argue for comfort to be free? You should be arguing for KWAM to be punished. You should be arguing for the air hostesses that did wrong to be held accountable. That is the rules of a society. And if you people that are doing wrong are held to account, you are going to likely see a better society. Societies that follow the rules are basically rewarded with civilization. It's just, that's the way it works. If you don't follow rules, you are setting the state for anarchy, because guess what? The forces of anarchy will rule. That's what is going to happen. And when I even look into the data, because whenever I look at this, I always try to look into the data to see whether it makes sense with what I'm saying. I looked into the data and I was shocked what I saw. I checked in the UK, the number of convictions in the UK per annum versus that of Nigeria per annum. In Nigeria, it shows that our conviction for criminal conviction, not civil, nothing. The criminal conviction is around just under 30,000 per annum. The UK one is over 1 million. And we have just about the same number of lawyers. Over 1 million. I would have thought the UK, with all their prosperity and everything, they shouldn't be convicting people like this. It just, my whole head, my head almost exploded. It's almost like the kind of things I found out about insecurity in Nigeria and how our countries are not secure. That's how I looked at that. I was like, how is it that a country that is more wealthy and everything has to do so many criminal convictions? More than 12 million people have got criminal record in the UK. Because if you screw around, you are going to find out when the judge is going to convict you. But in Nigeria, I know that they settle a lot of things out of court, but 30,000 for a country of 240 million. We all know why that is the case, because we don't enforce rules.
It's not just because we don't enforce rules. There's also a situation in Nigeria, and we carried out a study about this a while back. There's also a situation in Nigeria where a lot of people are held pre-trial. So they never get to see a conclusion to the charges that they were accused of. So you have actually more people incarcerated without being adjudicated guilty or innocent in Nigeria than there are people that have actually gone to court. So if Nigeria was to actually go ahead and persecute and see if you're termed guilty or innocent, there would actually be way more people incarcerated than in the UK.
Yeah. Sorry, let me just finish what I was saying. That I agree with you. I'm not querying what the reasons why it's happening. The point is that it's not the level of conviction rate, criminal conviction rate in Nigeria is too low, and you can see that with the example of this KWAM 1 and KWAM 2, where we don't tend to hold people accountable for wrongdoing, and that has to change. If you want to enforce good behavior, you have to create room for people with integrity and morality to emerge instead of lawbreakers getting away with their wrongdoing. Thank you.
All right, thank you, forefathers. Let's go welcome Buddy. Buddy, welcome to the show.
Oh, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. To quickly touch on what Okonjo-Iweala was saying. Okonjo-Iweala, she's a development economist. We all know that. And if we perceive that she's communicating to Nigerians, no. She can't just joke with her credentials. She's not what she's talking about. The whole world is saying it's economy, it's science. Data are there. And when they say economy is stable, it's simple. When they say economy is stable, it's simple. What they are simply saying in economic terms means the exchange rate is stable, it's not swinging. Secondly, when they say economy is stable, they're saying that GDP is stable. When they say economy is stable, what they mean is that like inflation is stable, it's not swinging, it's not gliding. And if you look at the data, I don't know the data that forefather is looking at, because I want to call me last week to join this argument with you. When you look at the data, I don't know the data that you're looking at. For the past 4 months, you've seen inflation coming down gradually, bit by bit, in arithmetic decrease. You've seen it coming down. It's there for everybody to see. It's like you making an argument that, oh, like America never go to the moon. And if you go to NASA, you see the tons of documents produced to show that America went to the moon. Why would they be wasting their time gathering the data, gathering those such information? Why can't they just go to the moon instead of wasting their time gathering the data? It's just like that. When they mean economy is stable, it only means simple thing. It does not mean that the price of food should come down from the bag of rice like 60,000 to 30,000 naira. That's not what they mean. It may not translate in the immediate term, but on a long run.
I never addressed the point you are addressing. I never talked about stability of the economy.
Oh, you touch on what
I talked about the value of our economy.
And number two, you mentioned about reduced GDP. That's another time you mentioned as well. And I will quickly tell you this. There are factors that are involved when you talk about reduced GDP. Nigeria GDP wasn't reduced. What they actually did of recent is rebasing.
Rebased it.
Rebasing is a different term. And if I could relate with what you are talking about, there are factors that are involved. Countries can reduce as well. Like you said, they can do it. But what is happening in Nigeria is not what you are saying. If they are talking about reduce, what we are saying in Nigeria is contrary to what you are saying. We don't have trade deficit of recent. We have trade surplus. We are exporting more this time around, which negates your position. I'm not speaking for the government, but when it comes to something that are like number, you see me coming up to challenge it. When you talk about,
I would like to address him after I finish his story. Go ahead.
If you're talking about reduce GDP, you will see cut in government spending. We are not seeing cut in government spending in Nigeria as of now. Government is a big spender in the Nigerian economy, and they are spending big on infrastructure. If they want to reduce their GDP, they won't be doing that. And another thing that you will see is probably you see decrease in investment, and we not see such in Nigeria. So those are the few points that I will touch on as per the economy. I don't think just for the sake of Nigeria, just for the sake to make somebody good, Okonjo-Iweala will not take his credentials. Because whatever she says, the whole globe is looking at her. And people are making decisions based on what the economists, the data that are coming out.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, sir.
Did the Nigerian GDP reduce from $477 billion to $187 billion last year?
What you're actually talking about, what I can understand that you are talking about, that you want to tend to discuss, is like, what happened to Nigeria? That like, do they devalue their money? What they basically did is flotation of the money, flotation of exchange rate.
I asked you a question. You are going round and round.
I'm not running around. I only want to explain the basic, because if you don't understand the basic or what.
No, it's a simple question. Answer the question. I didn't ask you about this thing. I've already explained that part. The reason why our currency, our GDP reduced. But I asked you a straight question.
Your fundamental was strong, and I need to straighten that.
I asked you a straight question, but you're not answering. But go ahead. Waffle on. Waffle on.
You know, I wanted to join last week so that we could educate ourselves.
Waffle on then.
Okay, let me touch on another thing. So on this show,
don't touch on another thing. Explain. I asked you a straight question. You didn't want to answer it. Did the Nigerian GDP reduce from $477 billion to $187 billion?
Let me continue there. What actually happened? What actually happened is this. By the time Tinubu took over, our foreign reserve has been depleted to $4 billion. Or which at that point in time, go and check, fact check me. You can Google it. By the time he took over, we are holding the airline. How much are we holding in the backlog of forex? If you calculate all that together, we are holding up to 11 billion. And at that point in time, there is no money. You know, our forex, foreign exchange, is being subsidized. There is no today. No, they are managing it. What they're doing now is what we call managed float. You don't.
Do you know how much they spent in the first half of this year?
Yeah, that's why that you flow. You see, don't.
You are talking. Do you know how much they've spent the first half of this year?
You still don't allow you. That's why I said, listen. I said when they say economy is stable, I said earlier that when your foreign exchange is not swinging, They still have to maintain it. They still have to maintain that stability between the market demand.
It was
They
stable
still have to
before.
maintain that market demand because it fluctuates to maintain that stability. That's why the CBN is there. They do it in every country. If you look at America, that's why Trump is mounting prayer on Chairman of Fed that they should cut rate.
I'm not saying the economy is not stable. The economy is stabilizing because the damage has already happened. So, and the export that you are referring to, have you checked the amount that was based on petroleum product exports from Dangote refinery? Did you bother to check the export that is growing?
No,
you didn't bother to check. You just talked about the sales.
No, hell export constitute the greater percentage. Go and check.
Actually, petroleum is the one.
The greater percentage.
But you see what you are saying now. Anybody that is listening to this will know you are not telling the truth because they know Dangote oil that is petroleum. Hold on. Dangote that is exporting petroleum products. There's nobody that could possibly export more than he does.
No.
And you are making that there is something else. What else is there?
Exporting crude. It's only the Nigerian government that
okay, don't worry. All this is I'm saying, I'm going to provide evidence. You're going to he's not having issue after this one. You're going to waffle on.
I will stick, later the night now. We'll still come back now. We'll still talk about
okay.
Let's give room for others to talk.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. At this point, we are going to go into rants. After the rants, we will round up for forefathers to take over. Once again, I want to announce that tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, we are going to get one of our young people who is making waves in the political scene in America. He's just elected. He was the youngest person ever elected into the council, local government council in his city. And he's going to join us to talk about prospects and priorities of African children born in the diaspora. It doesn't really matter what part of the world, but we have our young kids who are growing up, who are becoming part of the mainstream of the countries where we are deciding to hide away from our countries. They're making impact. So we want to talk to him about that and other related matters. We want to know whether there are things they owe us. Our motherland, or that they are out. I mean, are they just gifts to the countries where they were born? So we are going to have that conversation. And then, of course, on next week on 90 Minutes Africa, we are going to bring in the World Igbo Congress, the chairman, because they are building a bank in America. They are starting a credit union. And some other projects they are doing as part of, they're having a conference in Boston at the end of the month. So we're bringing him here to tell us what these things are, what they mean for people at home, and all those stuff. All right. So I want everybody to have an opportunity to rant for 1 minute. And I will start with you.
Sorry, whatever they say, they better not declare Ndigbo there, just in case. Just in case. I just thought I should put that one out there.
That's good. All right. So I will start with you, Mr. James. Rant. I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, we will spend less than 2 minutes. What's troubling me is, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yes, what's troubling me is this KWAM case. We have 3 KWAMs, KWAM 0, KWAM 1, and KWAM 2. Nobody is saying anything about Adams Oshomole. What happened is that KWAM 1 is a personal friend of the president. Nobody wants to offend the president. This is why they are misbehaving, not that they don't know what to do. Festus Kayamo should be removed from that office. And this also points out something. The way people are employed in Nigerian establishments need to be looked into, because the way the airport officials, be it the airline, the security, and what have you, it seems as if they received no training. Once there's a job opening, I have a lover somewhere in maybe Zunguru, please come and do the job. We need an air hostess. There's an opening for the position of an accountant. But you did principles of accounts at all levels. Please, why not come and, That is how we employ people. This is why they really don't know what to do. Each man is using his own discretion. Duties are not clearly defined. This is what has come out in these cases we've been handling. And as for the girl, I'm very happy that she was sent to Kirikiri, because if she had not been sent to Kirikiri, KWAM would have gone away with his ambassadorial title. The girl was sent there. That's why people raised, people raised concerns. If these two people have committed virtually the same offense, and even Adam Sosomole, why should this lady go to what we call Kirikiri? So that's a price she paid to make the country a better place. This is how I look at it. We have a very long way to go, and as I'm always saying, this is a time for us to be thinking of post-Nigerian republics. The country is finished. The country is kaput. I do not know who is going to rescue the country. Maybe another World War is coming, or Zeke, I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, there's no hope for Nigeria. Not that I wish that Nigeria should not survive, but from the look of things, there's no hope at all for Nigeria. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. James. Let's go to Kene. Kene, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Damages. Good day, everyone. So what actually triggered me to come on was this our brother, Body. Is it Body or Body? I don't know how to spell it. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. So you came here with written note telling us how stable the economy is, how Nigeria is big on exportation, how Nigeria is big on spending on infrastructure. Please, can you tell us 5 major, critical infrastructure that this current government under Tinubu is working on right now? That is actually not a white elephant project. Now, you talk about exportation. Tell us 5 things, 5 economy driving, whatever you call it, something that makes sense in Nigeria. 5 things that Nigeria is currently exporting that is bringing good revenue to the government. As we all know, currently now Nigeria is still struggling with high rate of inflation. The poverty and hardship is growing every day. Are we talking about infrastructural deficit? The huge dependency on oil. Maybe it's only oil that we export. Because as it is currently, even the Dangote refinery isn't refining anything. Dangote is still importing in Nigeria. Talking about the weak judiciary system and the high corruption in Nigeria. It is not a corrupt country that you see somebody like Obi Won, and if they are stark illiterate, will try to stop an airline, the aircraft. At the end of the day, you'll be awarded with ambassador of traffic or security, whatever nonsense. Talking about the burden, the high debt burden in Nigeria right now. How much is your Abado master, Tinubu, borrowing? He borrows every day, especially on everything. So if you cannot generate revenue, but you depend on borrowing, tell me how you are stabilizing the economy when all you do is to borrow. Babi Allah. And you come here to defend a God-forsaken, incompetent government that doesn't know its left from right. All they center right now is how to rig the election. That's it. The only language they understand is how to rig election and stay in power with nothing in their score. And somebody like Kulata, somebody like Body will be defending this incompetent government. You are here attacking my big brother. I don't know if it's my big brother or my small brother, forefathers, right? Saying that forefather is an economic illiterate, that he should be in the farm. You, Kulata, you should be rearing cow.
All right. Thank you, Kenneth. That's the rant. Dexter, you're next.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. Until we become sincere with ourselves, it's the point I was trying to make earlier. Until we become sincere with ourselves and we see a spade and we call it a spade, we are not ready for progress. And everybody wants Nigeria to do well, but we must tell the truth. This government, forefathers put it succinctly. This government came and literally imposed poverty on the people, and then they now start releasing carrots, and then we are growing the economy, And look, the truth about it is that Argentina was in a worse state than Nigeria. But at least Argentina, the guy is making he's doing something similar to what Tinubu is doing, but he's not stealing money. He's an honest man. He's not flying around $150 million private jet. He flies on commercial planes. So these are one of the things that I think affects Nigerians is that we are ready to accept very, 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 very bad characters just because they kind of suit our political leanings. We accept unscrupulous people to be in charge, and we will back whatever they do, just because that suits our political leaning. The country will not make progress that way. Nigeria said that if you work for 1 hour in a month, you are working class. That's what they said. That's how they calculated it. And then people now come here and say, there's employment everywhere. If somebody tells you as the messenger, please go and drop something for me there, that's 1 hour work. And you did it 1 day, 1 hour in a month, you are now in the working class. That's what the country.
Hard work staff is a working class.
What is very painful is that you have people who are in quotes living good lives, accepting that is a standard. It means that you see people, that what this person is doing will leave this person in abject poverty. But to suit our political narrative, we say, yes, it's correct, they are working. How many of us here can work 1 hour in a month and we take care of our bills? If anybody, the people that are backing this thing up, if you can come and tell me you work 1 hour in a month and it's okay for you, I will say then that's fine. So I think the problem is Nigeria, we need to be able to see what is wrong and say it is wrong and say it is bad, irrespective of whose ox is God, then the country is ready to move forward. If among the citizens, you cannot say this is bad and this is wrong because of your political leaning, then we are not ready to go forward. We are not ready. The same thing that Buhari was doing his own. You have people that were supporting him, still backing him up. Now Tinubu is doing his own. You know, people, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And we as a people must decide to liberate ourselves. Nobody is coming to liberate us. No God is coming from heaven to liberate us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dexter. We go to Colonial Master.
So this is the segment we just cry about anything.
Yes.
Well, listen, for me, it's I think the Palestinian issue for me is something I think the world has to take more stringent measures on. I think the world just needs to, at some point, let Israel know it cannot keep flouting every international law that it feels like. There's no, I think the danger that I'm seeing is for future wars and future skirmishes whereby people will know that, well, there's already a precedent. You can kill civilians, you can starve them. Prior to this, in recent history, in recent modern history, the only other notable incident where people were starved was actually in Nigeria in the Biafran War. I'm not saying it hasn't happened anywhere else, like it happened in Myanmar and it happened when Britain, what was not Brunei, there was another country, I can't remember now. But in recent history, at least in the last 5-6 decades, Gaza will always be a very, very, very notable exception and important chapter in our world. And I think if the world does not stand up to Israel today, tomorrow, if it happens, God forbid again in Nigeria, then what moral standing do those of you or the people that decided to look away, maybe because of your religious affiliation, what moral standing would you then have to complain if it were to happen to you? You know, so I think at this point, the world has to be united in ostracizing Israel. The world has to be united in condemning them. The world has to be united in making sure something like this is quickly cut short and never happens again. Outside of that, we are only setting the stage and the grounds for it to happen and become normalized in future wars. If we have to use starvation and indiscriminate shooting of women, kids, invalids, and old people as a means of winning a war, then like I said again, at some point, I think people have to question their morality, look inwards, and realize who they really are at the core and the depth of their person.
Thank you. All right, let's go to forefathers. Forefathers.
Yeah, I think taking from what I Speak the Truth said. I think it really begs why Netanyahu is stretching this. We know full well he wants the Palestinians out, and he knows the only way he can be able to do it is going to involve the world looking the other way somehow. But somehow, the world is not looking the other way yet. It worries me because it might mean that there's something else coming down the pipeline. And you know, when it is said that this issue is not going to be forgotten, it's one of those things that is going to stick. It's only going to stick if there is nothing bigger that happens. What if this triggers a massive war? What if something else bigger happens? If that something bigger happens, then this one will seem like a footnote. There's a lot of Gazas that happened during the Second World War. And we don't remember every single one of them, do we? And maybe that is the game Netanyahu is playing, and that's what makes him extremely dangerous. If we think this war is bad, the fact that he doesn't want to end it is signaling that maybe there's something more he wants. Something that is going to clean out his record, something that is going to somehow shield them from being able to push the Palestinians out without people paying attention to it. Something bigger could do that, and that should scare you. From the point of view of the Nigerian space, I think I saw the chief of defense staff saying something about African countries need to work together to protect themselves. And I also learned that Trump sold Nigeria some, interesting weapons, which is something you don't hear often. Selling Nigerians missiles. What did they think that Nigerians can operate missiles? How did they know that? That's scary. Why would you give Nigerians missiles? Nigerians we are knuckle draggers. We can't operate missiles. That's why. See, the point that he's able to do those things. This is one of the things I like about Trump. You say whatever you like about him. The Democrats won't give you that. They will make your life miserable before they even give you anything. But at least with Trump, if you have money, you stand a chance of getting what you want from him. From this government. And I think maybe the Nigerian government can try to tap into that and acquire a lot of advanced technology from outside Nigeria while they kind of transfer knowledge to the Nigerian space, because Nigerians need to start building sooner or later. We can't remain like this forever in terms of our ability to, shape our own environment and decide our own policies. There's a campaign going on now about African countries being able to travel amongst themselves, and by Wodemaya. And I think it's something that we as Africans need to embrace a bit more, because our chains are many, and that is one of them. That to me, that's low-hanging fruit. We are not even able to travel amongst each other well. And our yeye leaders, and they are sitting in our countries, and we are not able to tell them, why are you people not opening up all the borders in Africa so that we can travel freely? And even West Africa, I hear that even when you're traveling through West Africa, you can't cross the border without paying money. So that too, all those things need to be dealt with. We as a people, we have capacity to make some easy changes, and we should be taking advantage of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, forefathers. Before we go to Body, someone asked me not to rant today. In place of myself ranting, that he wants me to play a video of Festus Keyamo ranting.
I'm here to think that the APC is the best thing to happen to Nigeria. I'll be a fool to say so. Am I here to say that there are no thieves within the APC? I'll be a fool to say so. Will I be here to defend the APC as the purest political party, as the cure all and be all, and the and the cure all cure elixir we have been looking for? I'll be a fool to say so. No.
That's it. All right. I will have done.
He's a fool already. Now we know him to be a fool. So why is he telling us that he will be a fool to say something that we already know that is right? Yeah.
Right. Buddy, you're next.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I had 2 questions for you. 5 each.
Okay.
Let him.
5 infrastructure, 5 exports.
I think at this one, let him rant. After that,
Yes,
maybe you can have time to question him. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, let me say this simply. Stability, it's an economic term. There are certain times they use a certain field. So there's no, whatever they say the meaning is, that is the meaning. You can't change it. The fact is a fact. When you say something is dead, there are things that you have to check out, that you have to look for to determine whether it's dead. When you say something is living, it's a living thing. There are characteristics you look out for. If you find out those things, good. If you don't find it out, good. They are facts. Facts speak for itself. You see me, I don't argue on so many things. When you talk about number, when you talk about science, when you talk about, you see me jump up, you see me coming up. When you talk about politics, I think I know a bit. You see me jump up. I don't talk on so many things. I talk about things that I knew of. Only thing that I knew of, that I'm so sure of. Those are the stuff I talk about. If you've been following this channel and you've been seeing me talking, I only talk about few things that I know of. So, back to the issue of the hairline and the commotion that are going on. Are we good people ourselves? Not at all. I've been to Nigeria on several occasions and I fly with Americans. Then Nigerians and Americans. Nigeria and America, sorry, I mean. And even before we land in Nigeria, you see people jumping on you right from the back. And they will not do that here. We have issue within ourselves. The discipline is lacking. The patience is lacking. That's why you see people pushing for Buhari to return Kai. Because we've been used to this idea of this military mentality. Because the generation that we have right now, majority of boys were born during the military regime, whereby we have to be wiped into line by Koboko. That's why when you get to garage, you see the area you are at W, you see someone holding Koboko for one another. That's why our police are not civil. That's why our military are not civil. It is who we are. That's what we do. If you go to so many places, different government places, government institutions, private places, the customer service is poor. If you come down here to America, we have these particular people. If you see them on the street on a normal day, they are wet. But if you see them sitting there at the customer service desk, you see the best of them. If you mess with them after they walk, you will see the wrong side of them. But they've learned that art. Even at times, they might not know what they are doing. One particular morning, around 5 a.m., I landed at Dulles. And almost around like 5 to like 10 planes landed around the same time. If you see the way they are organizing us. I was talking to a friend that these guys that are organizing us, they didn't know what they are doing. They cannot even tell the theory of what they are doing. And so I was telling my friend, this is what we learned in the industrial engineering, operation management system. I was like, see the way they are organizing us. Within 31 hours, we are all done. Go to Nigeria. Nothing like process, nothing like system. We lack patience. We have to even go to university, the way we are even trained. I learned Rudolph was from Futa. During your undergraduate days, how was it? You have to struggle for seat. You have to fight. If you are trained that kind of a system and you are trained for 5 years and you are let into the world, what will you become? you can't get a better result. That's how we are just looking at ourselves in the mirror. Even people that are in the Western world here, when you travel with them, once you are landing in Nigeria, there's something else. So it's like a case of who is not a sinner should cast the first stone. But we have to improve on our system.
Okay. I have a question for you.
No, hold on. Can I hold on? Okay, let me make sure. Everybody had a chance to rant. Forefathers, were you?
Yeah, I had the chance to rant, I think, regarding the Israeli stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Just because in another 2 minutes I have
just a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank God you're a politician and you are interested in politics. I'm not a politician and my interest in leadership. So leadership, politics, parallel, right? Now, you talked about Nigerians in America jumping on you in the plane. Why wouldn't they jump on you in the plane? When the plane, as soon as it gets to Nigeria, you turn off the AC. You want people to suffocate? You rather run out of the plane. But planes here in America don't turn off their AC when they land. They have to keep the AC until everybody, exit the flight. Now you are saying all these things to justify what KWAM wants.
Not to justify.
Hold on.
Not to justify. Don't get it wrong.
Now, let me tell you my experience.
Let me play check you there.
Let me tell you my experience.
Jumping on people is not the right way.
My recent experience with Nigerian police at the airport just this February, right? I was coming to the airport.
Yeah.
You know how they would like to, assign you where you will park. And and he asked me, the police officers, 2 of them asked me to stop, to wait, so that the other person will move before I will now join. I was waiting. All of a sudden, 2 trucks with siren, big men came. And they now asked them to enter where I was waiting for me to enter. I say, what Kashege? I immediately double crossed the truck and blocked them. The police said I should move. I said, what can me move? I refused to move. I parked there, offloaded everything in the vehicle. They were looking at me, pack everything, asked my brother's wife, move your car and go. Now, this is Nigeria. This is what we have in Nigeria, where orderliness is not being respected, where the police that are supposed to maintain orderliness are the one breaking rules. You have a grown man. You see that pilot? God bless that pilot for me. The only mistake when I was watching that video, my only regret was that I did not see head rolling on the floor. You see that plane wing. My wish is just, but he escaped it. How dare you? Will you do that in a foreign land? He thought he has power in Nigeria. That's why he could, stop aircraft. His life is not more important than the lives of those people in that aircraft. So I applaud that lady for taking that decision. God bless her.
All right.
These are the kind of people we want in the system.
But I still don't have your question anyway. So
now you still did not answer my question, which means you failed.
I still don't have your question.
No project.
Not answer the question.
Nothing to export. Just borrowing.
All right. So can I thank you? We have to pass it on to the next stream where you can continue the conversation. Forefathers, I'll give you 1 minute because I have to close up and talk to a guest who is coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This idea of stability, I don't know why you keep using the term stability. Nobody said that the economy is not stable. I've never really focused on that. If somebody devalues your property and to the next year you are able to start buying furniture inside that property, God help you. I don't know whether the furniture is going to help increase your property value. It might marginally, but the fundamentals have been damaged, and that is the point. And I also heard you mention the idea of this increase in non-oil exports, because that's the key term that's important to use. I think we're talking about 3 billion here. Overall, if you look at the Nigerian export itself, it's way larger than that. It's marginal, which is an improvement. Is an improvement. Let's face it, it's an improvement. But what we are getting for it, in terms of dollar, I think it's helping from that point of view. It's helping. Anything you export is also always a good thing. But let's not start pretending as if that has come close to fixing the Nigerian economy at all, because it's minuscule compared to what is required, and it's minuscule compared to what someone like Dangote is exporting out of the country. versus the value-added manufacturing Dangote is doing is more valuable for Nigeria than anything else. So from that point of view, yeah, everything Okonjo Iweala said is correct. Just like some of the things you are saying is correct. But it doesn't mean what I said was wrong. And what I said, what I'm talking about is far more fundamental than the areas you are just looking at. Because if somebody devalues your entire property, no matter what you do, you have a big problem on your hand. You have to raise that property value back to where it was before you move forward. Because if you want to go and sell it, if you want to go and take loan, it affects everything. It affects everything. And that is what I call kneecapping in Nigerian economy in such a terrible way. And I find that very, very annoying. And the fact that many Nigerians don't get it is even more annoying. How can you not even see that? That they've kneecapped your economy. Your budget, your national budget, 2022 national budget was about $49 billion. Last year, the national budget was $28 billion. Where do you think the other wealth went? Where do you think all that wealth went?
All right. Thank you.
We need to be thinking a little bit more.
Thank you so much. Let me use this time to thank people that supported us. Brimo Tech, thank you so much. I didn't think we had a chance to talk about electricity situation in Nigeria. I'm getting reports that it's improving, but you know that during rainy season, it's always improving. So I don't know, but maybe something that you guys can talk about during your next, the next stream. Dr. Alexander Gomez, thank you so much. Kulata, thank you so much. Real K, thank you. Tracy, thank you. Now, I have to say this, sometimes you stay here for 3 hours and it's kind of lonely, especially when you think that you have to take care of certain things about this channel. So we really appreciate people who support us, even if it's $2, $3. I always say that if I visit any of you, I'm sure you'll be able to buy me coffee without thinking about that. So I always think that it's important that we do that. I'm not good at doing this. I don't really like that. I wish we can do away with it, but we need it. We have things we can do if we have the resources and people we can take care of that are already working with us. So once again, thank you everybody for joining. Tomorrow, 90 Minutes Africa, we are going to continue the conversation with a young Nigerian who is in the political scene here in America. Okay, on behalf of everybody who behind the scene helped us to get this show going today, I thank you and I will see you next week.
That the APC is the best thing to happen to Nigeria, I'll be a fool to say so. Am I here to say that there are no thieves within the APC? I'll be a fool to say so. Will I be here to defend the APC as the purest political party, as the cure all and be all, and the and the cure all cure elect that we have been looking for? I'll be a fool to say so. No.